the technology across the board is literally, it's, you know, the online capability to do these things. We didn't have, you know, this satellite, persistent satellite communications program that we have now, you know, that's commercially available, I should say. We didn't have a lot of things that we have now. And of course, the ships, the planes, and obviously everything that's robotic, everything you call drones, whether it's on the water, under the water, flying over the water, whatever. These are new capabilities, things that we just didn't have. So it's a tremendous capability to maintain a persistent maritime domain awareness in and around Venezuela, and certainly in the Eastern Pacific, which is another area where we've been doing these kinetic strikes against narco-terrorist boats and semi-submersibles. But the other thing, too, is the missiles that we have and the ability to put forces in there faster, quicker, better than we had before. So I think it's changed a lot. And what's fascinating to me...
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Siberian strike
is the Joint Task Force concept. And I think there's another name for the Joint Task Force just for Southern Sphere. That's kind of seems to be a working name right now. But this Joint Task Force is being formed on the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force, 2F, out of Camp Lejeune. They also have a persistent relationship with the U.S. Southern Command as a component command as well. And that this is going to probably change things. And you wouldn't, if it was just going to be air and sea, I don't know that they would have set the JTF under the Marine Corps, under a Marine Command. But that tells me that they're looking at air, sea, and possible land because, well, frankly, that's what Marines do. We cover all warfighting domains.
What are narco-terror networks? Lay it out for anybody who needs to have it explained to them in layman's terms. We know what narco means, but what's the terrorist piece of it?
Well, the terrorist piece are that we've looked at what they do, and they do some pretty horrific things. And a lot of times they do stuff for political effect, too. If you look at what's going on in Venezuela, the Venezuelan government, the Maduro regime is seen as inextricably linked, if you will, to the narco-terrorists. It's considered a narco state because of the interwoven ties financially, operationally, and every other way with the narcotics cartel. So in that regard, is it a political entity? Does it do things for political purposes? And you can't escape the answer of yes. And if they're doing extreme violence in the pursuit of a political objective or a political purpose, well, then you kind of start getting into the definition of terrorism as it's understood in the international system. The other thing, too, is they have done things like assassinations. If you look at what's going on in Mexico with the drug cartels, they certainly, in all levels of war fighting, if you will, and also targeting weapons use and stuff, they seem to be very much in the mix of what we see. And, of course, they're very much mixed into the political spectrum as well. So in all those regards, we've seen that. We also look at the number of deaths that are being imposed on the U.S. or the U.S. is experiencing every year from this horrific drug trade. And so if you look at the death toll, you look at what they're doing, you look at the political influence or political manifestations, you start to end up with, they're not just a criminal organization, they're actually much bigger than that. And that's why we designated terrorists, just like we designated ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other groups.
I was reading about the aircraft carrier that we've sent. The U.S. will use warships in the region, including the USS Gerald R. Ford. Tell us about that aircraft carrier. It's the largest in the world, and what will it be doing to help our forces out there?
It's the largest, it's the newest. It has a lot of aircraft that are, some are like older F-18. They have a lot more aircraft as well that they can use, and it has basically an electric, the old pressure-based system, hydraulic-based system that they had for launching aircraft. This one is a system that's based on magnetic force to shoot it out, and so they can launch and recover aircraft a lot faster. so they can do more sorties. And when you get into doing strike missions, it's not just the planes or how much they carry, it's how fast they get those things launched in the air, putting bombs on target, if you will, and then getting back to the carrier to get recovered, rearmed, that's where the Gerald R. Ford has an advantage over some of the older carriers, because it has the ability to keep a very high sortie rate going. So if we're hitting targets and we want to hit a lot of targets, again, in close correlation, if we were inclined to hit targets in Venezuela, for example, we would want to have it to be a stunning attack with a lot of damage and a lot of an ability to impede the opposition force, the enemy, if you will, to reorganize. Then you'd want that high sortie rate. That's what the Gerald R. Ford gives us, that really high sortie rate.
So let's talk about something that CBS had. They reported that President Trump was briefed on potential options for operations in Venezuela, including possible land strikes, but no final decisions have been made yet. Al, does it feel like the U.S. is preparing for such an operation?
They're doing everything you would expect if we were going to do an operation. Now, what we don't have, even with that Marine Expeditionary Unit out there, we don't have a large amphibious force afloat that could do an amphibious invasion, an assault on Venezuela and overthrow their military capabilities. But we do have the ability to degrade them to a point where their military and security apparatus completely collapse. And I think that's what we're looking at, doing something in the collapse realm, and probably something on the side where we're working with opposition leaders. The president kind of alluded to that he had authorized the CIA to engage in some sort of covert activity. That we have folks who we probably already contacted, things being put in place, that when the Maduro regime collapses, if you will, falls apart, that others will step in to take control, and likely the Maduro will be handed over to us for being extradited to the U.S. to face trial. Although, as we've seen in the past, when dictators tend to be deposed, a lot of times they don't make it. So there may be no Maduro alive.
One down.
So people that have been following these drug strikes, they might not know the history behind the Maduro regime. Why does the U.S. consider Venezuela and Maduro government a narco state?
Because it is a narco state. And basically, they used to produce a lot of oil, and they still produce quite a bit, but it's down about a fourth of what it was before all these things.
They come and reload.
They're doing like 3.2 billion barrels of oil a day. They were exporting another down to less than 700,000. That's actually less than that. And so that oil economy and its dramatic revenue associated with it has decreased. At the same time, he's a strong, he is a far left, if you will, socialist communist. Chavez, his predecessor, the same way. Very anti-business to basically gutted the private sector economy in Venezuela.
Got one down.
Some would say population definitely has fled under his regime and under the regime of his predecessor, which is an enormous exodus of population. And they open the doors to cartels. So they produce the drugs up in that Andean area. Colombia is very famous, but there's other areas in Peru and stuff where they produce where the coca trees grow, where they can harvest the coca leaves and they produce cocaine. And then they can ship it to Venezuela, which is pretty much a narco transit country, which is you can come in, they will help you with the drugs, the government forces will actually work with you if you're a drug cartel, and then you can ship it out. And that's what we're trying to stop, is this massive flow of drugs going to Venezuela. It's not just in the U.S. that where it's going, it's also going to Europe and other countries as well. And so we're trying to stop this, and that's why we call them a narco. That's why we call it a narco state. And because of the effects of what's going within the country and outside the country, the degree of violence involved, that's why we designated them as a terrorist group versus just a violent criminal group, which is what they were before.
Hal Kemper is a retired Marine Intelligence Officer and the host of the Strat Podcast. You can listen to Strat anywhere podcasts are available. Hal, good to see you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you all.
All right, 7:45 in the nation's capital. Let's
Reclaim the position.
our coverage continuing in a moment.
Bumpy weather, we're way up in the air, a little bit bumpy. So what's the word? Do you have any questions?
Tell us a little bit about how the meeting went yesterday.
We had a good meeting. We'll see what happens. I don't know if anything's going to happen, but we'll see. They'd like to do a deal.
We got a computer over here on the base side.
I guess 50% tariff. But we had a great meeting. It's happy birthday. I want to wish the president happy birthday.
Watch out, Frosty, right here in
Okay?
front of you.
It's his birthday today. Did you know that? He's a very vigorous guy, actually. I was very impressive. But today's his birthday. So happy birthday.
Frosty down.
Would you
Damn it,
let him
Frosty.
know, please.
Somebody put your GoPro with it.
It's right here, the handsome guy behind me.
When you're down on that rock.
Stand right over here. Wait, let me just give him. We also have Marco.
Play position on the rock. Preparing to engage. Well, multiple shooters.
Jameis and myself with our counterpart, the vice president, and we have a framework for
Your head down, bro.
President
Your head down, bro.
and we discussed
We don't have no fucking, I'm not even to engineer, bro. Nobody's firing this damn fucking big ass fucking armored
substantial
vehicle, bro.
purchase of U.S. agricultural
I'm
products
switching over.
In rare earths.
and rare earths.
Anti-armor, anti-armor personnel.
But we feel good. I mean, we feel good. I feel better that this guy's got nice broad shoulders. If the plane makes a big turn or something, I'm grabbing his shoulder. Please do. You know what? Over here. Marco, where are you? Come on up here. You want to move over here? I think you have to.
Hard position, prepare for anything.
It's the greatest team ever assembled. You know that if I were an elected president, in my opinion, every automobile company in the United States would be either bankrupt or very close to it. And instead they're hitting record highs. The stock is through the roof. You saw Ford and you saw General Motors yesterday go up big, all because of tariffs. If there weren't tariffs, it'd be just like it's been for the last 30 years, where we lost about 52% of our automobile manufacturing. In my opinion, whether it be now or very shortly, if it weren't for what I've done as president, every automobile company in America would be bankrupt. Instead, they're doing phenomenal business. That's all because of tariffs. All right.
Can you walk through when you expect
Get the fuck out of that
to take
guy.
effect and pass? Why?
We're gonna let them know.
They're flanking the boys, they're flanking the
Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. He used
They're
them
coming in, they're through the wall, they're already breaking his perimeter. Hold the line.
He made a mistake in that. And again, I was the biggest fan of Ronald Reagan, but on finance, on trade, it wasn't his strong suit. But he liked tariffs, and they totally changed that to say that because they're catering to the Supreme Court. Because Canada's been ripping us off for a long time, and they're not going to rip us off anymore. Canada has been ripping us off for a long time. One of the most difficult countries to deal with has been Canada. As much as I love Canada itself and the people of Canada, it just had a lot of bad representatives. They did a big ad yesterday. They were in court. The Ronald Reagan Foundation was the one that caught him, and it was totally the opposite of what they said. So I don't like that. That's dirty fool. And you can't do that. And
They break
let
it
me
to the
just
ring,
tell you,
they break it to the
they
ring,
shouldn't
all
have done
that.
it. And they've apologized, and they said we're going to take the ad down. Well, they did it, but they did it very late. They let it play for another 2 nights, and now they took that ad
I'm switching
down.
over to fucking.
So I don't know when it's going to kick in. We'll see, but I don't really want to discuss it. Let's go.
Mr. President,
Lost the mountain. We lost Iron Mountain.
Because whether it's provincial or Canada itself, they all knew exactly what the ad was. The Prime Minister knew, everybody knew. The Prime Minister knew what the ad was before it went.
will you see him in
Stay
the
alive, Frosty. Tell my wife I love her.
I don't want to meet with him. I'm not going to be meeting with him for a while. I'm very happy with the deal we have right now.
They fucking fight this
We're
damn
going to let it ride.
Can we ask about the Fed?
Frosty down. I gotta hurry down. Hurry down.
We're obviously traveling a lot now. We're going to continue. We're going to do a second round, and we hope to present a good slate to the president right after Thanksgiving.
Fire, Bill. I don't care what you aim at. Fire. They're everywhere. They're in the wall.
I'm thinking about Marco. I'm thinking about James.
Going top side. I can't see the pit down here. Hit the top side. Oh, there we go. I got out.
We have a lot of candidates that run the job.
They're up there.
I think it's the world's easiest job, but to get it right, you have to be very smart. And we have a person that's not at all smart right now, unfortunately. He should have been much slower, much sooner. That's why we call him Jerome Powell.
Russia said this week that they've tested a new missile that can go more than 8,000 miles. Is that saber-rattling for you? What is it? What is that?
You know, we have
They're coming in.
the world right off the shore, so I mean, it doesn't have to go 8,000 miles, and they're not playing games with us. We're not playing games with them either.
This game, bro, like, it has potential.
We test missiles all the time. But, you know, we do have a submarine, a nuclear submarine. We don't need to go 8,000 miles. And I don't think it's an appropriate thing to be saying either, by the way. You ought to get the war ended.
There's no real way to
war
harden your
taken
defense.
1 week is now in its soon fourth year. That's what you ought to do instead of testing missiles.
Should the EU use frozen Russian assets to help pay for defense of Ukraine?
That's up to EU.
Considering additional sanctions against Russia?
You'll find out.
Shipbuilding has been a big part of your trade deals with both South Korea and Japan. Why is it so important to increase our shipbuilding to counter China?
There they are. I got out.
Well, pretty obvious answer to that because we want more ships. We're going to be back in the shipbuilding industry. We have a lot of companies coming into our country now. They're going to start building. We have the shipyards available. You know, in World War II, we were the biggest in the world in shipbuilding. And then over the years, we went wokey and stupid and weak. And we started buying ships from everybody. And, you know, we lost that industry. But we'll get that industry back. We were the best at it. And we'll soon be very good at it, if not the best.
What are you going to announce in Japan? Can you give us any preview?
We're going to just announce great friendship. I look forward to meeting the new Prime Minister. I hear phenomenal things. He was a great ally and friend of Shinzo Abe, who was my friend.
They coming right back.
He was great.
I got one.
Really best. And I know they were very close. And I think philosophically they were close, which is good. It's going to be very good. That really helps Japan. I think she's going to be great.
Which CEOs are going to come to your dinner tomorrow? Can you say what companies?
I'd rather not say. You'll see tomorrow.
Are you planning to sign the final deal on TikTok on Thursday when you meet?
We might. That'll be one of the things we discussed. Somebody reported it's been approved recently. I mean, we got an original approval from President Xi. I expect we'll have an approval, but I'd rather wait till a couple of days till I
got another one now.
It's something we can do.
I got brought down Marine
China. Is the understanding from both countries that will remain regardless of?
I don't want to tell you what the understanding is. What we understood yesterday or 2 days ago or even today is not going to be necessarily what it's going to be in 2 days. We're going to have a great talk. I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I like him a lot. He likes me a lot, I believe. And respects me, and I think he respects our country a lot. And I think we're going to have a successful transaction for both countries.
You've been briefed on the incident. Both a fighter jet and a helicopter.
I've heard about it, yeah.
You know what happened there? Was
they're going to let me know pretty soon. I think they should be able to find out. It could be bad fuel. I mean, it's possible it's bad fuel. Very unusual that would happen.
foul play or anything? Security.
They think it might be bad fuel. We're going to find out. Nothing to hide.
Sir, has there been a snag in terms of the South Korea trade talks? How is that going?
No, just a lot of details to work out. Very complicated deal, and I think we're very close. Do you expect to finalize that on Wednesday, or will it maybe not quite be done? Not quite, but I think the overall framework is done. We're just getting the crossing the T's, dotting the I's. that's what a vessel is.
You gotta be able to break into the range to hit the Bravo. Whoa, nice. Whatever that was.
So with the Creed deal, there are a few parts to this. There's some, national security related issues, which are really, not my wheelhouse. Then we have some pure trade issues. We had some non-tariff barriers to us for a long time, and we resolved a lot of those, so that's great. And then there's another piece which is really about investment going forward.
Hold down the line. Hold the line.
More than they've already done it. So we're talking right now, frankly, about how to implement Korean investment into the United States in the best way to make sure that we're...
And especially for shipbuilding, we're very much involved in getting the shipbuilding thing again, which really we should have never lost years ago. We lost years, many decades ago. We were number one. We'll be either number one or right up around them. China's making a lot of ships. I take my hat off to them. Now, they wouldn't if we had that situation where we charged essentially a fee, but we're not looking to hurt their shipbuilding.
Have the Koreans asked for any visa guarantees after that immigration raid?
No, I feel I'm just very much opposed. When they come in, they're making very complex machinery. They're going to have to bring some people in at least at the initial phase. In that case, it was batteries. Batteries are very complex, and they're actually very dangerous to make. You can't just pick people off an unemployment line and say, we just, opened up a $2 billion battery factory. So we've got an understanding. And this is with the world. By the way, this is not just with South America. This is when they come into our country. We have a lot of factories being built by foreign interests. When they come in, some of these factories make very, very complex, very highly sophisticated equipment. They've got to bring people in with them for a period of time. They'll teach our people how to do it, but even for a fairly long period of time, they're going to need expertise to be successful. And we're going to let people know, I'm letting them know right now, that when they come into our country, we can expect to see them bring in with them some very talented people that have been doing it for many years. They'll teach our people how to do it. Our people will be just as good as they are within a period of time, and it'll be a phase out. But we want them to bring in experts, and that's the way it is.
Mr. President, what visa would they come under, and how long would those?
That's it. We're doing a whole new plan for that. But what you can't expect, let's say they come in, for instance, we have massive number of ship companies, in particular one, the biggest by far, the biggest in the world, coming in. You can't expect them to make unbelievably complex ships and computers and other things and pick people off the unemployment line that haven't worked in 5 years. But we're going to, so I want them to come in with talented people, and it'll be a phase out, a slow phase out.
Did I hear you right that you said you're opposed to the way that raid?
I was opposed to getting them out. And in fact, before they got out, they were pretty well set. Before they got out, I said they could say they went, they left, and they're going to be coming back. Wow, what a great question that is. I love that question, because that was a big win in Argentina. I want to congratulate the victor. He's a big victor, and he had a lot of help from us. He had a lot of help. I gave him an endorsement, very strong endorsement, and it was really unexpected to have a victory of that. I thought it would be hard to win, and not only did he win by a lot. So Argentina, that was a great thing, and I give Scott and I give James and everybody, Marco, a lot of credit for that, because we are sticking with a lot of the countries in South America. We're focusing very much on South America, and we're getting a real strong handle in South America. In a lot of ways, including the fact that we don't want their drugs. We don't want drugs coming into our country, and you're seeing that.
You would suggest that you might not proceed maybe with the swaps plan or with the changes to beef purchases, depending on the result of that election.
We're going to take care of our ranchers. We have two situations. The ranchers for 35 years have done very poorly. The cattle people. They've done very, very poorly. And now they're doing well with the prices. So what I can see happening is we're going to take some beef because I have to get the price down. I want to get most prices are down. If you look at energy and all I have things down, but beef is high, and the cattle ranchers are doing good. They backed me from day one, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that they don't get hurt, but we have to also make sure that I get the prices down. I want to get the prices down.
Push up, hold the line. All units, push up and hold the line. Man, grenade. Grenade.
Venezuela was the fourth largest economy in the world in the 1950s because we had a lot of resources, a stable republic, and free markets.
Hold the lines. All units, push up
My
and hold
name
the
is
lines.
Franklin Camaro, and this is my story. I was born in Venezuela. I grew up in a wonderful family. My dad is an economist and also a businessman. My mom, on the other hand, she was the moral compass of my family. And my brother, he's my best friend, and I had a wonderful childhood. But I was born into a world where everything around me was slowly crumbling and being destroyed by socialist policies. My grandparents had the opportunity to see a different Venezuela, and even my parents. Venezuela was the fourth largest economy in the world in the 1950s because we had a lot of resources, a stable republic, and free markets. But then everything started to change. The government grew up its size. They built a huge welfare state. They started to take control of the economy. People took for granted the success that we had. And that opened a space for Hugo Chavez in 1999. When I was 6 years old, we had the opportunity to come to the US for vacation. As a kid, I remember stepping off the airport and witnessing the results of a free society. Advanced technology, newer cars that it almost felt as being in the future. And from that moment, I knew that I wanted to live in a prosperous society. With Hugo Chavez in power, our success and happiness as a family turned into a struggle for survival. We didn't have enough food to feed ourselves. We were just eating rice and beans every day because it was the only thing that my parents could afford at that moment. Since I was a teenager, I was very interested to know why is the United States successful and Venezuela is not successful? What are the differences? And now I can say that the difference was the capitalistic system, and that was the biggest motivation I had to start with my political activism. I led political protests. I participated on radio and TV interviews in a country where freedom of speech is not allowed. And I even traveled to several states in my country to give a speech called Defending Capitalism. But I also liked the idea of becoming a doctor, a physician. If you want to graduate as a doctor, you need to go to a public university. And something that is important to know is that the government has a monopoly of medicine in Venezuela, especially in education. Authorities of those colleges are basically political activists. So while I was pursuing my third year of med school, I had a debate with a professor. The class was physiopathology, so it doesn't have anything to do with politics. So this professor, he was mentioning that Venezuelans who had escaped the country to try to find a better future in other places are stupid. So I felt really angry about what he was saying, and I wanted to debate about it. The reason why they escaped Venezuela is because of political persecution and because there isn't any type of opportunity to succeed in a socialist country. He took me out of the classroom. He grabbed me by the arm. He took me to the director's office. They expelled me from college. They said with these specific words that I was a terrorist and that if I don't leave right now, they would call the National Guard. When you receive a comment like you're a terrorist and the government is such as the Venezuelan one, you need to be scared. I received the notification by 2 different people that I was going to get arrested. I would honestly rather die than going to prison in Venezuela. You would be tortured. There are politicians who have been killed inside of prisons in Venezuela. So my mom and my dad, they both thought that the best decision to take was to try to hide in a different location. No one knew where I was, and I didn't tell anyone, just my family. I think about crossing the border in Colombia, but Colombia is not a safe country neither, and in the past they had collaborated with the government to expel political dissidents from Venezuela back to Venezuela and then were sent to prison and tortured. I managed to sell as many goods as I could in order to come to the US. When I was in the airport in Venezuela and the flight got delayed 10 hours, and I knew that I could be stopped in the airport and being sent to jail. Thankfully, I wasn't. So I managed to make it to the US, and I tried to seek asylum, which later I got my asylum and then my green card, which I'm very proud and happy for. But once I made it to the US, I was very worried, scared, and concerned about the safety of my parents. Something that happens in Venezuela is that if they cannot go after you, they might go after your family. So I made sure to tell my parents to come here as soon as possible because I knew their life was in danger. And shortly after I arrived, my parents and brother made it to the US too. I didn't know any English when I first came to the US, but I knew that I had to learn. In my first year here in the US, I was washing dishes in a restaurant. And that was the best academy, the best classes that I could take. I was forced to speak English every day. It was a huge challenge. Right now, I just got my degree in political science, and I'm working as a political commentator at Univision, talking to the Hispanic community about how grateful we should be to be living here in the US and how important is to guarantee that the future generations have the same blessings that we have had. The United States of America gave me everything and all I needed in order to achieve my dreams, and it was freedom. The freedom to think, the freedom to work, the freedom to keep the fruits of your labor, the freedom to pursue your own happiness. There is a reason why Latinos immigrate to America, and because this is the land of opportunity. They want to work hard and they want to achieve the American dream. They are looking for the American dream. Hispanic values are about family, faith, working hard, and they don't want the government involved in any type of decision that they make. And that's why it's so important to me as a Latino to talk to them and remind them how valuable this country is and the reason why they chose this country, and that it contradicts tremendously the socialist system. I had this desire to see my country free and successful. After years of disappointments, right now I'm very hopeless. People wanted socialist policies and an authoritarian government for a while. They had it. And when they wanted to change direction and they wanted freedom.
Who said EBT was back? Because whoever said that, lied. You lied. If y'all gonna speak something, speak it truthfully.
You know what? I really hate to say this, but I hope they do dismantle the whole SNAP benefits program. Because a lot of y'all are lazy. Let's just really face it.
Another wild thing going on is EBT and people selling EBT cards. A single mother with 8 children will receive her EBT payout. She now has a debit card that's loaded up. But SNAP benefits can only be used at the grocery store. You can't buy cigarettes, nails, or go into the bar. Another person likes paying less for groceries and buys an EBT card offer at a discount of 50% or 25%. That person now gets groceries for cheap. The original card holder gets half of kids and noodles. That's crazy. Another thing is, right now if you use EBT cards, it doesn't require showing a photo ID when it really needs to be. You know, I have seen a lot of videos of people talking about how the reason why so many young people just kidding, have EBT benefits are being cut off because they sell EBT cards to people for cash. If you have $2,000 in EBT, you sell for $1,000, it's $1,000 cash. What in the world is going on here? I mean, this is all coming from your taxpayer dollars. Check out some of these videos.
Okay, so yesterday I made a video about a girl being on here crying about losing her food stamps. and how was her kids going to eat and all these things. And in my video, I was just, because I went to her page and see that she was physically able to work, you know, with school-age kids. And so I just said, you could just go to work. And a lot of y'all was commenting, oh, a lot of people got jobs and still are on food stamps and, you know, all these things. So what? Still go to work. And I'm an individual. I've never had food stamps. I've always made too much money. But you can still utilize food banks, food pantries. I volunteer every single week, so I know there's literally resources out there to get on the internet crying, saying they're losing their food stamps on November the 1st. How are my kids going to eat? That's diabolical. Do you understand me? There's so many resources. I would prefer to see a video and be like, okay, I'm losing my food stamps, you know, November the 1st. This is really sad. It will be a damper on your lifestyle and a damper on your ability to provide. But I want to hear other resources come out your mouth, not just crying about how your kids are going to eat because you're losing food stamps. You understand me? So no, I cannot relate. I grew up on food stamps with a family of 12. You understand me? I understand the benefit of it. And when my mama didn't have enough, because we never lost our food stamps per se, but the food stamps did not stretch throughout the month until the next month food stamp amount, right? So you know what we did? We were standing, me and all my mama's kids and everybody that was there, we were standing in line at the food pantry. You understand? Each kid had a bag for us to get something. Canned goods, rice, beans, whatever. So no, you're not going to be eating the best without your food stamps, but you still going to eat. And I feel like that's what some people are missing. Or you can go get a part-time job at a restaurant and ask them, can you take the remaining of the food home? I work at a restaurant. I don't cook. There's food at the restaurant. I'm not doing it. You understand? So it's just like there's things that you can do to provide resources for your children. But to get on the internet and just simply cry about how are your kids going to eat because you don't got food stamps, I'm gonna need you to put 2 and 2 together and figure it out for your children. If you're not gonna figure it out for yourself, figure it out for them kids.
Y'all have me assuming everybody that gets food stamps is just poor and just doesn't work and just let me get in. Listen, I think it's so funny because I literally work with people who think the same way and it cracks me up. First of all, you can't even get food stamps unless you can prove that you are under the poverty line.
Push the fuck up.
Under the poverty line, meaning that you have to make less than somebody who is poor. So you're like below poor to even receive food stamps. So there's that. And then if you make even $1 over what they want you to make for your household, then they cut it off. So, and then not everybody even gets the full amount that they can get for their household. Like let's say that a household of 5 can get up to $1,400. Well, depending on how much your job pays you, you might be getting $400, $300. You might not be getting that full amount. And then outside of that, it supplements about $6 per meal per person per day. How many of you spend $6 on a meal? So just think about the fact that it's not going to even last all night. You have to shop very smart in order for however much food stamps you get to last all night. So majority of people on food stamps are spending cash on food just like you. The difference is they don't have as much liquid cash as you, so they would not be able to feed their kids the full month if they were strictly going off of their cash, which is why they're able to get a supplement. Supplement does not completely pay for everything. Not to say that there aren't people who don't work, but there's also different circumstances for that as well. It's not up to you to decide what somebody is able to do, if someone is able to work or not. You're not the one that decides that. But anyway, there's a lot of people who work, business owners. There are people who work 9 to 5s. There are people who deliver groceries or who work for the state, like people who do things like that, who still qualify for food stamps. So if you're the type of person who feels like just because someone qualifies for food stamps, they're lazy, you don't even realize that they might work more than you. They might work harder than you, but it's just the fact that they either have more children than you or their income after paying their bills is so low that they can't even afford food after that. So if you find pleasure in the fact that those kind of people are not able to buy food with the government shut down, I think that shows how inhumane you actually are, especially if you're a follower of Christ, because I don't understand how anybody can celebrate the fact that someone is not going to be able to have some assistance that is helping them. If you don't qualify for housing assistance or for food stamps or for medical assistance, you should count that joy. Because even people who qualify for it still have to work today. So they don't have more money than you because the government is helping them. The government is helping them because they have less money than you. And your money is not paying their bills because they're taxpayers too. You can't even get food stamps if you don't have a job. You can get food stamps for 3 months if you don't have a job. Outside of that, you have to actively show that you're searching for a job every single week, or you have to be working. You can't just sit on food stamps without a job. If you have kids under the age of 18 and there's a specific reason why you can't work or you're disabled, then yes, you can be on food stamps without working. But majority of people on food stamps are working 40 plus a week. So people who don't even qualify for it, or who have never had to go through the process to try and get it, or who don't have to recertify every 3 months, or who don't have to deal with the state all in their business, your opinion on this doesn't matter. And you shouldn't be posting videos about something that you don't even qualify for, that doesn't even apply to you. That's my opinion on the whole food stamp thing.
This is a message only for the people who receive food stamps. If you have money left over on your food stamps, you need to use it by October 31st. Because if you don't use it, they will disappear from your food stamp account on November 1st. It's different state by state, but I'm in Michigan and that is what I was just told. As most people know, I'm still in foster care until I am 21. It's adult foster care, blah, blah, blah. But my foster care worker just told me, she works for the state, so she gets information before. She said if you do not use them before October 31st, they will disappear from your food stamp account on November 1st.
This is for the people who are upset about their SNAP benefits getting cut off in November. What did you do with the SNAP benefits from last month? They ate them? Because you get SNAP benefits enough for that month every month? Well, maybe you guys should have saved some of your food from October so that you could eat enough. That's stupid too. Because you gotta eat in October? And then they didn't know the SNAP benefits were going to be cut off? Well, maybe if you guys got a job, then maybe because the job market $725, $7 and it was good. Well, maybe if when you buy your groceries, you could save that food right there so you can make multiple meals. Buy a meal. It's real. How much is it? $17. You lie. Well, how much is chips? $5.49. Well, that's like a big party size in this food. Like a half bag of eggs. Almost $1. Gotcha. Well, see, the problem is you guys are just getting way too comfortable on these government benefits, and that we gotta pay. I'm mad at the wrong people. I look stupid because I'm getting mad at poor people for being poor in the system that I'm also being affected in. You see, you're mad at the government. I look stupid. I should probably look stupid because I'm repeating everything you say. Yeah. Oh, okay. I apologize for my outburst.
All right. So this morning I just got up and my kids asked for a snack. So I pulled out some snacks or whatever. Ty, let's go. You want juice?
Yes.
What else you want? You want chips? You want candy?
Yes.
What kind? We got different kinds of candy. You say what? Talk up so I can hear you. What you saying? What kind you want?
Fish, sour chips.
Sour strips?
Yeah.
Okay, boom. You want food roll up? Here you go. You want a muffin? All right. Milk, let's go. You want the juice?
All that damn shit.
Okay. You want some chips? You want popcorns? You want candy? Yes. What kind you want? Got different kinds. Got redhead.
sour.
This is sad. Turn this shit off.
You want freeze-dried sour screw?
That's sad, that shit. That shit is sad. I hear that shit.
So if you want to trade profitably, the best place to start is probably just go to this free community.
我不上班，顶多是穷。
Not working just makes me poor. Working makes me both tired and poor. If I don't work, I only have financial problems. If I work, not only do I have financial problems, but I also have mental issues. Every day, I have to reply to multiple work chat groups. Got it. Okay, sure. Beggars also say please help, but when beggars go out to beg, they still have to check the weather and the time. I go to work early in the morning and come back late at night, rain or shine, and in the end, I earn less than a beggar. I think about quitting 800 times a day, but I still manage to get perfect attendance every month.
This is a popular joke on Chinese social media, and while it's humorous, it reveals the bitter reality behind many workers' laughter. People say that we are in an era where capitalism is faltering and all industries are struggling. In every trade, there are obstacles to overcome. The most unfortunate are the current college students. Before graduation, the future is uncertain and everyone has potential. After graduation, the reality sets in and everyone is just another worker. You work tirelessly, but poverty always outpaces you. Those without jobs want to work, and those with jobs want to die. In companies, one person does the work of three, and if you don't put in extra effort, you'll end up farming. In the past couple of years, the word people hear most frequently is poor. Regardless of what they used to do, whether they were workers or bosses, engaged in physical businesses or e-commerce, almost everyone in China, except for public servants, has entered an era of widespread poverty. People used to say, you're poor because you don't work hard. Factory line and public security workers are earning 2,000 or 3,000 yuan a month, making less than even a beggar. Without desires, they don't want to buy houses or cars, don't get married or have children. Without ambition, they don't want to start a business or become wealthy investors. As long as they don't starve, they're content. They lack drive, so they deserve to be poor. However, the current trend on Chinese social media is, the harder you work, the worse off you are. Without working hard, you can still at least eat and not become a negative millionaire. But those who try hard to change their fate end up losing everything and becoming heavily indebted.
The harder you work, the more debt you accumulate. The more you persist, the poorer you become. The bigger you play, the more debt you have. These past few years have truly not been suitable for starting a business. There are fewer and fewer people on the streets. Nowadays, if something can be bought online, it's almost impossible to make a living selling it offline. Store owners just watch each other, either getting crushed by competition or dragged down by the market. Even wholesalers and brand manufacturers have turned to live streaming sales, leaving only the restaurant industry appearing somewhat prosperous. Barbershops still have occasional queues, and hospitals are as crowded as ever. It's not fair to blame young people for not getting married, not having children, not spending, or not consuming. In the current environment, no matter how smart or hardworking you are, it's tough to make money renting a place for business. If you push a bit harder, take out loans to expand, you'll just end up worse off. Sometimes it's really better to just lie flat. Lying flat has become the most sensible thing to do in recent years.
Entering 2024, more companies are laying off employees and more businesses are going bankrupt. In Guangzhou alone, there are hundreds of thousands of unemployed people. Each of them has parents to support and children to raise. How are they supposed to get by? But no matter how tough life gets, it still has to go on. As a result, we're seeing women flocking to live streaming and men flocking to food delivery, creating a surreal scene where there are more taxis than people. The passageways and subway stations are crowded with young women doing live streams, but there are very few viewers sending gifts. Many college graduates can't find jobs and have to resort to food delivery, earning only 2.5 yuan per order with no social benefits or security, often waiting half a day without receiving a single order. App-based taxis and three-wheel taxis fill the streets, with more vehicles looking for passengers than there are people to ride them. Entering May, the economic situation in China has noticeably deteriorated at a faster pace. Those in the restaurant business find that there are no more customers. Small shop owners realize that a day's revenue isn't even enough to cover the rent, and stores selling clothes and shoes have long since shut down. It's truly a case of industries withering and livelihoods suffering. This is a restaurant owner whose business failed due to poor sales. In a video, he said,
今天没事干，出去转了一圈。
I had nothing to do today, so I went out for a walk. Everywhere you go, there's an air of desolation. It's like a battlefield out there. As the real estate market gradually fades from the spotlight, industries directly affected include banking, construction, building materials, renovation, property management, home appliances, and furniture. Hoping to return to the prosperous times of the past is impossible. Some might argue that my failure is due to poor management skills, and there are always people who make money regardless of the times, just like in the restaurant business. Many have said I can't manage well, that my products aren't good, and that my capabilities are limited. I don't deny these criticisms because the reality is in front of us. But in 2024, the restaurant business is also a heavy asset, high investment, and an intensive operation industry. It's really not as simple as you think. Given the current environment, is it really a matter of personal capability?
If the failure of the restaurant is due to personal capability, is the closure of physical stores also due to poor management? Let's see what these store owners have to say.
Netizens from Shenzhen to Dongguan to Huizhou report that physical stores, commercial streets, and residential shop fronts are filled with cries of despair. Closed shops and transfer notices are everywhere, from city centers to town centers to industrial area night markets. With foot traffic decreasing progressively, some industrial areas are almost devoid of people. Factory buildings are also vacant, and I rarely see construction workers on the roads this year. With the market saturation and sluggish sales of commercial housing, industries like banking, construction materials such as steel, cement, and plastics, renovation companies, property management companies, home appliances, and furniture industries are heavily impacted and have plummeted. The decline in these industries indirectly affects the income and job choices of those running shops and working away from home. When the overall environment was good and business was booming, 80% of people could make money regardless of what business they were in, and only 20% might incur losses. But now with a poor overall environment, only 20% are making money, while 80% are losing money.
The video from this store owner shows that the factory buildings are almost entirely shut down, and on the commercial street, aside from a few convenience stores, no other shops are open. Dongguan, once held as a paradise for workers, is now deserted. For a long time, there's been a narrative that physical stores were killed by e-commerce. Platforms like JD.com, Taobao, and Pinduoduo have taken away the business of physical stores and pocketed all the money. Some believe that without cracking down on e-commerce, China's economy cannot improve. However, e-commerce platforms argue that they don't deserve the blame. They're also struggling and on the verge of collapse. So, who has caused the downfall? Recently, there was news that JD.com's founder, Richard Liu, started to tighten employee discipline due to poor performance. Some say this confirms a recent claim that e-commerce is also becoming unsustainable.
Richard Liu said that employees with poor performance don't deserve to be part of the team. The statement is harsh, but the reasoning is straightforward. It's not just JD.com. Platforms like Taobao, Xiaohongshu, and Douyin are all being forced to follow Pinduoduo's lead by offering the lowest prices across the internet and unconditional returns. Our entire e-commerce sector is becoming like Pinduoduo, using the most advanced AI to achieve the most traditional business ideal, eliminating middlemen to avoid markup. However, don't believe that eliminating middlemen will allow source factories to make big profits. They still make meager earnings because if they dare to raise prices, lower-cost factories will snatch away their traffic. So who benefits the most? In the short term, consumers indeed gain, which explains why online consumption, as a proportion of total social consumption, has been increasing from January to April this year. However, in the long run, this homogeneous internal competition may lead to a decline in product quality and a lack of innovation. Manufacturers are solely focused on reducing costs, ignoring other aspects, which means consumers might suffer in the end.
Starting a business is difficult, and so is working a job. Once thriving businesses can't hold on to their wealth, and those already struggling are further burdened. Delivery drivers say the platforms exploit them, providing no benefits and forcing them to compete for orders. E-commerce sellers say that platforms squeeze them, pitting merchants against each other, ultimately leading to collective demise. What about the factory workers? Whose grievances are greater? This is a documentary reflecting the lives of grassroots workers in China. It tells the story of an owner and employees of a hardware factory in Foshan, Guangdong. A male worker in yellow uniform says that they work 12 hours a day with few holidays. The owner's response is that not producing for a day would cost him 50,000 yuan. To drive a better car and buy a bigger house, he can even delay paying wages. Because he wanted to buy a luxury villa, he withheld wages for 2 months. The workers, who rely on their wages to support their families, were dissatisfied and protested for their pay. Facing the striking workers, the owner simply said, "Anyone who can't accept this can leave." With this single sentence, the workers had no choice but to return to their 12-hour days of screwing bolts. In these times, having a job at all is a blessing, and no one dares to lose it. The owner is ruthless, accurately grasping the plight of workers in China. Finding a job is hard, earning money is harder, and life is the hardest. Losing this job today could mean the whole family goes hungry tomorrow. Seeing this, anyone would wonder just how dire the economic situation must be for people to live such hard lives. Some might ask, doesn't China's official economic data show that the economy is doing well? Didn't China's GDP growth rate reach 5.2% in the first quarter? Are these people just pretending to be poor to gain sympathy? If you think this way, it means you don't fully understand China. China's news and statistics departments are the most mysterious organizations in the world. With a little data manipulation, the worst scenarios can look like the best scenarios. For example, after major man-made disasters, the news departments don't hold accountability meetings or memorials. Instead, they hold commendation ceremonies. The statistics departments can produce perfect data even in the worst economic conditions, transforming widespread misery into great rejoicing.
In April, not many bloggers analyzed the economic data, likely because the focus was drawn to the real estate sector. Let's look at the core data. First, the retail sales of consumer goods in April grew by 2.3% year-on-year. Excluding automobiles, consumer goods grew by 3.2%. You could see that the contribution of automobiles in April was minus 0.9%. Overall, the year-on-year growth rate is still declining, but the rate of decline is narrowing. However, if we consider the data on houses and cars together, given that both housing and car sales are shrinking, the continued lackluster performance of consumption indicates one of two problems. Either people genuinely have no money, or they are afraid to spend money. Looking at investments, nationwide fixed asset investment from January to April grew by 4.2% year-on-year, while private fixed asset investment grew by only 0.3%. You can see that the growth rate of private investment is far below the national average. Combined with the social financing data from April, it's even clearer that the investment growth rate is declining, especially in the private sector. However, the surveyed urban unemployment rate was 5.2% from January to April, down 0.2 percentage points from the same period last year, and the unemployment rate in April dropped to 5%. This doesn't seem to match the fixed investment and social financing data.
Here, the blogger can't explicitly say the data might be falsified, so he jokingly says,
"Maybe our analysis is wrong. You get the idea, right?"
Chinese netizens have become more understanding, appreciating the difficulties faced by the Statistics Bureau. After all, they have a lot of bad news to spin. It's an incredibly challenging task, and some oversights are inevitable. Netizens have stopped demanding the impossible. The blogger continues to analyze, looking at the industrial production data, the added value of industries above a designated size nationwide grew by 6.7% year-on-year in April, accelerating by 2.2 percentage points from the previous month. The growth rate is quite fast. From the data, it seems the focus is still on equipment manufacturing, high-end industries, and increasing export revenues. Finally, the blogger sighs and says,
"After looking at all this data, one can't help but wonder, do households really have no money, or are they constrained from having money? I believe we need to stabilize income first, then make efforts to increase them. You know what I mean?"
Everyone knows that the common people really don't have any money left. The Chinese government should focus on increasing the income of the lower classes. However, the reality is quite the opposite. seeing sluggish consumption, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is getting anxious. Despite the people's empty pockets, the government is trying to force consumption by accelerating programs like old for new appliance replacement and introducing new regulations for electric vehicles, including mandatory replacements. They're even initiating a new wave of price hikes on essential living expenses. There are reports online that in some communities in Shanghai and Shandong, neighborhood committees have started using grid workers to go door to door to record the age of air conditioners, refrigerators, and washing machines. This effort, resembling a population census, aims to encourage residents to participate in the old for new appliance replacement program. Yet, even these measures can't stir the stagnant market. People aren't buying houses, cars, or large appliances. They are tightly holding onto their money and refusing to spend. When pushed to the brink, the government resorts to extreme measures. On May 27th, China's National Bureau of Statistics released data showing that from January to April, large industrial enterprises nationwide achieved a total profit of 2.09 trillion yuan, an increase of 4.3% year-on-year. Specifically, the mining industry achieved a total profit of nearly 400 billion yuan, a decrease of 18.6% year-on-year. The manufacturing industry achieved a total profit of 1.4 trillion yuan, an increase of 8%. The electricity, gas, and water production and supply industries achieved a total profit of 258 billion yuan, an increase of 36.9%. For ordinary people, these numbers mean nothing. What truly matters are the aspects directly impacting their lives. In the latest data, the most striking figures, the electricity, heat, gas, and water production and supply industries achieved a total profit of 258.3 billion yuan, an increase of 36.9%. What does this mean? It means significant price hikes for utilities. A woman in a video states, "As local governments' reliance on land sales wanes, water, electricity, and gas prices are skyrocketing across the board. Shanghai raised water prices for the first time in 10 years, with the highest tier seeing an increase of over 50%. Guangzhou followed, with a new water supply price rising by nearly 34%. Shenzhen, Fuzhou, and 125 cities and counties in Jiangsu province also announced plans to raise pipeline natural gas prices." According to the 12306 railway website, 4 high-speed rail lines will increase their fares starting June 15th. Experts claim that rising prices can stimulate consumer spending. They argue that the reason Chinese people aren't spending is because prices haven't risen enough. They call this the wealth effect of rising prices.
Extra value meals are back at McDonald's. For just $8, get 10 tender juicy chicken McNuggets, plus hot salted fries and a medium drink. The 10-piece McNuggets meal for $8.
Stimulating consumption requires that people have money in their hands. If they have money, they will spend it without any stimulation. However, if they don't have the money, no amount of stimulation will work. When stimulation fails, new tactics are employed. The latest tactic is raising prices on essential services like water, electricity, and gas. One netizen commented that while you can avoid price hikes in rail travel by staying home, you can't avoid increases in water, electricity, and gas prices. They wondered if this means they'll have to start eating only 2 meals a day. Experts argue that people do have money, it's just sitting in the bank because they're unwilling to spend it. They point to the average savings per person supposedly being 110,000 yuan. But let's look at what the female blogger mentioned about who actually has the spending power. In 2022, the average annual salary for civil servants and employees of public institutions was 114,000 yuan, while employees in private enterprises earned an average of 65,000 yuan, a gap of 1.75 times. And this disparity is continuing to widen. According to official data, the number of civil servants was over 7 million in 2016, and this number has increased in recent years to address the employment needs of new graduates. This creates a severe problem. Different income groups have vastly different capacities to handle the same price increases. Moreover, the way these increases are implemented is troubling. For instance, a homeowner in Chengdu reported a gas bill of 17,290 yuan after replacing their gas meter for just 20 days. After the nationwide rollout of smart electricity, gas, and water meters, monthly utility bills have skyrocketed from tens to hundreds or even thousands of yuan, affecting nearly every household. Some say China's economy has shrunk to a servant economy, meaning an economy driven by the consumption of civil servants and public institution employees. These people have stable incomes and generous benefits. Meanwhile, the true lower class and most of the middle class, after enduring various financial hits from the stock market, P2P lending, and the real estate sector, are left with empty pockets and heavy debts. As one blogger said, we're actually very poor.
Our median income is only about 3,000 yuan, no better than Thailand or the Philippines. We are still a developing country, and most Chinese people's wallets are not as full as imagined. In reality, we are quite poor.
If there is any set of economic data that can spark heated discussion in seconds, it must be the economic data released by China's National Bureau of Statistics. The stark contrast between macroeconomic growth and personal economic hardship is a major source of tension between the Chinese people and their rulers. Netizens lamented, "The official data states heaven, but we're struggling in hell." This sarcastic remark reveals deep dissatisfaction and helplessness. As policymakers and data publishers continue to treat ordinary people as targets for wealth extraction, this can only further worsen social conflicts. The real estate crisis in China continues, and developers are coming up with new marketing strategies to boost sales. In the past, we've seen promotions like low down payments, free luxury cars, and waived property management fees. But recently, a property in Dongguan, Guangdong Province, made headlines by offering a buy one, get one free deal. This quickly became the top trending topic locally, shocking the industry and drawing more attention to the increasingly competitive real estate market. The property offering this deal is Vanke Group's Zhongqian Century Waterfront. Currently, they have units ranging from 89 to 195 square meters. If you buy a large unit of 140 square meters or more, you'll get a free 40 square meter seaside apartment in Huizhou, also developed by Vanke, valued at over 200,000 yuan. The promotion ran from July 12th to July 28th, with limited availability. Zhongqian Century Waterfront is the first large-scale urban renewal project in downtown Dongguan, covering over 800,000 square meters. According to Vanke's Dongguan website, this project has been a top performer in terms of signed contracts and sales area locally since it entered the market last year. Currently, the average price for large units in this project is about 35,000 yuan per square meter, while smaller units are around 26,000 yuan per square meter, with total prices ranging from 2.5 million to 7.5 million yuan per unit. The free apartment in Huizhou's Shuangyue Bay is located in a popular coastal tourist destination near Dongguan. Vanke says this apartment comes with a 70-year property right, and the development is almost complete. Why did they launch the buy one, get one free promotion? Vanke explained that July is the summer vacation period, and many families from Dongguan traveled to Shuangyue Bay with their children. Their main customer group is aged between 30 and 40, making this promotion a good fit for them. Since those looking to buy units of 140 square meters or more match this target group, they decided to offer a linked sale. Although smaller units don't come with a free apartment, their prices have been directly reduced. On August 1st, Vanke denied any significant price cuts and stated that the promotion received positive market feedback. However, they clarified that the promotion has now ended due to the limited availability of special offer units and emphasized that there was no forced bundling of sales. Although Vanke claims that the promotion was well received, Chinese netizens have shared a different view. Some said, "No matter how much they give away, I still can't afford it." And it's not about needing two houses, it's about not having the money to buy one. If you don't lower the price, even if you offer a buy one, get one free deal, people still can't afford a house. It's not just about not being able to afford it. Many netizens are pessimistic about the real estate market. Some people are saying, the more it's like this, the more you should hold on. In 2 years, prices will be even cheaper. Another commented, if you don't buy and I don't buy, prices will drop by half. Others added, hold on, in 2 years it will be buy one, get two free, and I'm waiting for rock bottom prices. Even a real estate agent in Shanghai, after seeing the buy one get one free news, said, "I think it's better not to buy now. Prices are definitely going to drop." A research supervisor at the South China branch of the China Index Academy, Chen Xueqiang, noted that the overall real estate market in Dongguan is still at the bottoming out stage, with a strong wait-and-see attitude among buyers. Although Vanke denies price cuts, both the sales volume and prices in the real estate market have significantly declined. According to data monitored by the China Index, the first half of 2024, the average transaction price for new homes in Dongguan was about 639 yuan per square meter, down by approximately 17% year-on-year, making it the largest drop in the Greater Bay Area. The average price of second-hand homes was 18,477 yuan per square meter, also down by about 20% year-on-year. Moreover, in the first half of 2024, only 7,629 new residential units were sold in Dongguan, a year-on-year decrease of 46%, with an average of fewer than 1,300 units sold per month. This is about 1,000 units less per month compared to the first half of 2023. The apartment market has also remained at a low level, with significant inventory pressure. Some netizens believe that price cuts would be more effective. One said, "If you want to clear the inventory, just knock a zero off the price. Watch, in less than a week, everything will be sold out." Another commented, "The gifted apartment can't be lived in, might not even be rented out. Plus, you still have to pay property management fees. With the high fees for the apartments and the government not regulating them, think carefully before you act." One more added, "The main point is, after 70 years, the property isn't even yours. More importantly, it might turn into a dangerous building after just 30 years. Some netizens are skeptical, saying things like, "When something unusual happens, there's always a reason. Isn't this a game of offering a bonus when it's about to shut down? And the more they do this, the more uneasy I feel, even though I haven't bought a house yet." Another added, "If you're the prey, the hunter will find a way to lure you into the trap." Someone else commented, "Property taxes are about to be implemented, and they're just looking for someone to take over the burden." Another replied, "You're right. Whoever buys more properties will be the one paying the property taxes." It's worth noting that Vanke is not the first developer to try a buy one get one free deal. Back in April, during the Qingming Festival holiday, a project in Beijing's Tongzhou district launched a buy one get
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, it's his job to keep the power on. That's why he chooses Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get one free deal, offering a free 108 square meter seafront apartment in Yantai with the purchase of a 77 square meter two-bedroom unit. Before that, the Fuji Yunlong Mansion project in Shenzhen's Longhua district had also launched a similar promotion, offering part of the down payment for a house in Dongguan or a developer-owned unit in Shenzhen's Dapeng district as a freebie. Given the overall pessimistic outlook for China's real estate market, most developers are under pressure to clear their inventory, and Vanke's Zhongtian Century waterfront is just one example among many. In Dongguan, it's not just buy one get one free promotions that are popping up. Recently, several developments have started selling at prices below the land cost. According to a report by China Real Estate News on August 7th, the first development in Dongguan to sell below land cost was the OCT Yunrui Mansion project in Machong, priced at 10,000 yuan per square meter, which is below the land cost of 14,000 yuan per square meter. This project first launched pre-sales in May 2022 with an average reported price of 24,000 yuan per square meter. Currently, the regular sales price for low-rise units in this project is around 17,000 yuan per square meter. Later on, some projects in the Water Village area also began offering properties at 10,000 yuan per square meter. Another state-owned enterprise project in Hongmei, Dongguan, called Shoukai Shijiayue, launched a batch of units priced at just 10,600 yuan per square meter. These units come with fully furnished interiors and offer a choice of floors. It's reported that these low-priced units are mortgage-rescued properties. This term refers to properties that developers use as collateral to repay outstanding construction costs owed to contractors. To quickly recover their funds, contractors often sell these properties at lower prices. A local real estate agent commented, "In the current market, as long as houses can be sold, it's a good thing. The key issue is whether developers can still guarantee the quality of delivery after their profits are affected by falling prices, which is a crucial test for these companies." A social media user on Tencent remarked, "The property market can't hold on any longer. The crash has already begun, and we'll see more and more houses selling below land cost. The longer you wait to buy, the better the deals you'll get." In July of this year, Hong Kong billionaire Li Ka-shing's Shangkong Holdings also announced a 50% off sale in their Dongguan Kaiyihao Court project. The special offer units were priced as low as 13,000 yuan per square meter, with 2-bedroom units starting at 900,000 yuan and 3-bedroom units starting at 1.2 million yuan. Chief researcher at the Housing Policy Research Center of the Guangdong Urban and Rural Planning Institute, Li Yujia, pointed out that the popularity of low-priced homes suggests that buyers expect prices to continue falling. This could further lower price expectations and affect market sentiment and transactions. Dongguan, located in the eastern part of the Pearl River Delta, is a world-renowned manufacturing base and a crucial export hub for China. High-value-added electromechanical and high-tech products have been the main drivers of its foreign trade growth, with the city once having a foreign trade dependency ratio of up to 300%. With advantages such as low labor and land costs, Dongguan experienced rapid economic growth, establishing itself as the world's factory. However, in recent years, the economy has taken a sharp downturn following the departure of many Taiwanese and foreign investors. Dongguan's GDP growth rate has plummeted from its double-digit peak to just 2.6% in 2023. The accelerated decoupling between the U.S. and China and the relocation of supply chains have led to widespread unemployment and reports of 4 million people leaving the city, signaling the end of Dongguan's prosperity. Dongguan is one of the cities in Greater Bay Area. If such an economically developed city is facing these kinds of real estate difficulties, it's easy to imagine the situation in other cities across China. According to data from China's National Bureau of Statistics, in the first half of 2024, the sales area and sales value of newly built commercial housing in China were approximately 479 million square meters and 4.71 trillion yuan, respectively, representing a year-on-year decline of 19% and 25%, respectively. The area of new housing starts was about 380 million square meters, down 23.7% year-on-year. The CRIC Research Center's statistics show that in the first half of 2024, the top 100 real estate companies achieved sales of about 1.85 trillion yuan, a drop of 39.5% year-on-year. On July 29th, Caixin reported that Lu Ting, the chief economist for China at Nomura Securities, stated at the 2024 Greater Bay Area Chief Economics Forum that China's economic recovery is not meeting expectations. The data indicates that this real estate crisis is quite different from previous ones, and the industry is facing 3 downward spirals simultaneously, making it difficult to recover on its own. The first downward spiral occurs between housing prices and real estate sales. Over the past 3 years, housing prices in many Chinese cities have continued to decline, leading potential buyers to hesitate, which then triggers another round of price drops. The second downward spiral involves the issue of ensuring project completion and the relationship between completed projects and new home sales. Although the project completion issue wasn't severe in first-tier cities, quality problems with new homes are now affecting residents' willingness to purchase, even in these areas. The third downward spiral is a result of declining new home sales, which leaves developers without the funds to buy land. This reduction in land sales revenue then impacts local real estate markets. Lu Ting noted that before this downturn began, real estate accounted for about 1/4 of China's GDP, with its contribution to national fiscal revenue peaking at 38%. However, since 2023, the real estate market has been sluggish, with all key indicators continuing to decline by 10 to 20%. He emphasized that the industry is struggling to recover on its own. He also pointed out that the Chinese economy is facing several challenges at the same time: declining local revenues, more local governments directing funds towards various new energy-related enterprises, even though sectors like solar power and photovoltaics are already experiencing negative growth, and poor performance in the A-shares market, which in turn affects primary market financing. Additionally, the combined effects of the downturn in the real estate and the stock market, along with widespread salary cuts across companies, have hit household wealth and income. further impacting consumption and family investments. This has led to a reduced contribution of consumption to China's economic growth. With the real estate market in a slump, several local governments have recently announced the removal of price restrictions on new homes, allowing the market to set prices. This move highlights the fact that the central government's recent efforts to support the housing market have not achieved the expected results. This situation is also reflected in Vanke Group's latest July sales data, which shows a continued decline. According to Vanke's recent announcement, in July, the company achieved a contract sales area of 1.5 million square meters, with sales totaling 19.2 billion yuan, a year-on-year decrease of 13%. For the first 7 months of this year, the cumulative contract sales area was 10.9 million square meters, with a total contract sales volume of 146.6
Discover your new
billion
Acura
yuan,
today and
down
experience where performance meets style.
35.2% year-on-year.
You're elevating the way you drive. With
Earlier,
cutting-edge
on July 9th, Vanke disclosed its performance forecast, predicting a net loss of 7 billion to 9 billion yuan in the first half of the year, a year-on-year decrease of 171% to 191%. The net loss after deducting non-recurring gains and losses was estimated to be about 5 billion to 6.5 billion yuan, a decline of 157% to 175% year-on-year. This marks the first loss for Vanke since it was listed in 1991. Vanke is a state-backed company and often regarded as a top performer in the real estate industry. It has always been a leader in profitability. There was even a time when they earned a staggering 40 billion yuan in a single year. Even in the tough market of 2023, despite moving from profit to loss in the first quarter, Vanke still managed to hold on to a profit of over 12 billion yuan. In the first quarter of this year, although Vanke was still holding on, they only reported a loss of 360 million yuan. However, within just 3 months of the second quarter, Vanke's losses quickly expanded to 7 to 9 billion yuan for the first half of the year.
Thanks to its high-impact resistant polymer body, it's ready for the toughest environments. Let's talk about what makes it special. Inspired by real-world feedback from active-duty police officers, the 2211 goes beyond standard launches. It features an integrated, hands-free tactical light that pumps out up to 300 lumens. Worn on the wrist, the light lines up naturally with a two-handed shooting stance, casting a wide, smooth max vision beam, ideal for navigating a park, identifying threats, or gaining a critical edge in high-pressure situations. Let's not forget comfort and convenience. Weighing only 3.73 ounces, the 2211 comes with an adjustable nylon strap that keeps it snug and secure. A built-in battery in the engine means you'll never be surprised by the dead light. And even when the light's off, it stands tall as a dependable timekeeper. Proudly designed and made in the U.S., the Surefire 2211 is built for those who can't afford to second-guess the future. Whether you need it for time, light, or both, let's get serious about survival. In tactical duty and survival scenarios, precision and attention to detail are non-negotiable. The U.S. Pro Striker XE Gen 3 combat pants embody these principles with rugged build and mission-ready design. Crafted from durable ripstop fabric and reinforced with Cordura and high-stress lace, these pants are built to endure the toughest conditions. Dynamic stretch panels at the shoulders ensure unrestricted movement, giving you full control in high-intensity situations. The UF Pro Waist Flex system provides a secure, comfortable fit through stretch side panels and breathable 3D padding at the lower back. A quick zip opens wide ventilation zones to help regulate body temperature during demanding operations. For added protection, a modular 3-level knee system reduces injury risk while enhancing balance. An integrated 5-level knee adjustment discreetly housed in spacious dual-axle side lets you customize pad placement with ease. Combining rugged durability with ergonomic design, the UF Pro Striker T-Gen 3 combat pants deliver performance
selling a 48% stake in Nanshan Impression City Mega in July. These transactions were completed at prices far below their book value. However, for real estate companies who sacrifice their profits to maintain liquidity might not look good on books, but survival is more important than anything. Bloomberg analyst Christy Hung issued a research report indicating that Banco's solvency in 2025 and 2026 remains at risk. The cautious attitude towards private developers' pre-sales, along with a preference for second-hand homes, may hinder Banco's recovery in sales and liquidity. However, Banco's decline in July home sales was still smaller than the 36% drop tracked by China Real Estate Information Corporation (CRIC). The top 100 real estate companies, despite recent stimulus measures, the new home prices in China fell in June at the fastest pace in nearly a decade, reducing incentive for people to invest in real estate. The real estate sector continues to trend down due to economy. Preliminary data from CRIC indicates that the top 100 real estate companies in China saw a 9% year-on-year decline in new home sales in July, totaling about $270 billion. A faster drop compared to the 17% drop in June. Transaction volume also fell by 34.4% from the previous month. At the same time, the time required to clear housing inventory is increasing. According to data from the China Economic Survey, as of May this year, the average installment size in 50 states increased by 3.9 months, reaching a decline of 3 months. China's government is the first GDP heavily promoted the development of the real estate sector. Under this encouragement, many people invested in real estate a few years ago, which led to an abnormal boom in the industry. This rapid development resulted in soaring housing prices and fierce competition among developers to acquire land, leading to an oversupply in the housing market. According to research by the People's Bank of China, more than 70% of urban housing growth is tied to real estate and most household debt are mortgages. Data shows that 41.5% of urban households own 2 or more properties. However, as housing prices decline, the return on real estate investments has continued to fall. Investors are now facing the issue of value of their properties and have started selling off older assets. Since March 2020, the number of listed second-hand homes in China has surged. By June this year, the number of second-hand home listings compared to the second-tier hotspot cities has surpassed 100,000, with some cities exceeding 150,000. In June, the number of listings in urban areas alone has reached over 200,000. The urgency of cash-strapped investors to sell has made transactions in the second-hand market more difficult, leading to a decrease in overall market activity.
Designed for both professionals and outdoor adventurers, the Holy Sentinel sunglasses
commented that industry experts believe the golden era of buying houses as investments is over. For families owning 2 or more properties, the future may bring 3 major challenges: increasing difficulty in selling properties, a saturated rental market, and rising costs of property ownership. Real Estate New Talk suggests that China's real estate investment is now facing dual pressures of declining returns and rising costs. In the future, holding onto real estate might not only be unprofitable, but could also carry the risk of financial loss. On August 1st, the China Index Academy released data on the second-hand residential market for 100 cities in July. The average price was $14,690 per square meter, down 0.9% month-on-month, with a decline rate to expanding by 0.01 percentage points compared to June.
Your eyes stay
This
shielded
marks
in
the
all
27th
conditions.
consecutive month
Certified
of
to ANSI
month-on-month price declines,
87.1
with a year-on-year drop of
2010 safety standards
6.6%.
can unlock these
This trend
sunglasses
of
are
driven volume for price continues, with second-hand home prices in 100 cities collectively dropping for 4 consecutive
Gerber
months.
down range is
By
a
city tier, data from the Juga Data Research Center shows that in July, the average price in first-tier cities was $55,593 per square meter, down 0.5% month-on-month and 5.7% year-on-year. In second-tier cities, the average price was $17,071 per square meter, down 0.4% month-on-month
dig
and
into tough terrain,
8.63%
or strike a
year-on-year.
fire starter.
In third
Again
and fourth-tier
again.
cities, the
The
average
impact
price
had
was
functions as both a hammer and
$9,040 per square meter, down 5.3% year-on-year and 0.44% month-on-month.
There's no
These figures clearly indicate that the difficulty in selling real estate in China is intensifying. Not only are sales prices and volumes for new developments sharply declining, but the
Planted in the ground to free up your hands, crash through barriers or reach a vehicle. The downrange isn't about finesse. It's built for force, speed, and reliability when it matters most. The UF Pro Storm Chaser jacket is a lightweight tactical essential built to handle unpredictable weather with ease. Weighing 200 grams, it provides resistance and water. Ideal for demanding environments. Engineered for adaptability, the jacket features plastic cuffs and a hood with integrated visor.
In this video, Panic
Its
Man is the
ergonomic
owner
pattern
of
allows
the
full range of motion.
According to him, this driver will
Quick access to your gear, the elastic cuffs seal out wind and help retain body heat,
passerbys and
improving comfort and
drivers
performance
extended
of the
helping
field.
hands.
Its compact design packs down effortlessly
Going back to that buy now, pay
or even
later, like I
pockets,
told
so
you.
it's
Eventually,
always on
the fire
hand.
department arrived.
Whether you're in tactical operations
the electric car was severely damaged.
the Storm Chaser designs weather protection, free auto, and portability in one smart
Chinese emerging
jacket.
electric car manufacturer.
The SOG
Last year, they delivered a total of
is a rugged folding knife
376,000
designed for both
vehicles,
everyday carry and practical use.
exceeding
It features a 3-inch drop point blade crafted from D2 steel, renowned for its durability and long-lasting edge retention.
As we
With a
auto
thickness of
sales
3.6
so
millimeters,
does of course
the blade offers a sturdy feel and handles a wide range of cutting tasks with ease. Measuring 7.2 inches overall, the knife sports a linen McCarty that provides
L9 Pro will experience a
even
mishap.
its
Riding assistance system
It's
is mistakenly identified by
with
truck on a
lightweight
billboard
portability
as a real car while on the highway.
The blade
The system
deploys
initiated
smoothly using a
emergency
tempered
brake,
drum
causing rear
and a
vehicles
reliable
to
frame
slide
lock
due to
keeps
insufficient
insufficient
reaction time.
A tip-off
The accident
clip
triggered
ensures
deployment
easy and
of both front
convenient
airbags,
making it
resulting in
easily
minor
accessible
abrasions
when
to
you
the
need.
driver's hands.
The Attack 2.0
Following
boot,
police
trusted by
investigation,
top
the owner of the
professionals
SUV
around
was
the
deemed
world,
responsible
has been upgraded to be even lighter
Auto acknowledges that there was indeed an issue with system recognition,
built
and they
with a
plan
tough
to improve
full range
upwards to software according to
rugged 840D
previously
and
Auto
an
electric
advanced shock absorbing system
in May
delivers
2023,
dependable protection
Auto
from any
L7
injuries.
was driving
Thanks to a
normally for the
breathable
national
airflow
highway
cone and a
when its
full
driving assistance
dual-density
system
ortholite
mistook a picture of a
Your
brand
feet stay
ambassador
cool,
on a
dry,
billboard
and supportive all day long.
triggering
Construction
emergency brake.
enhances flexibility and comfort.
With this incident
While
occurring
practical
nearly a
features
year
like
apart
knife
from the
pocket,
recent
YKK
one,
side
it indicates
for
that
easy
Auto
runs.
does not
And a
improve
slick and
recognition
oil-resistant
functions
outsole
driving
system. At just
emergency
1.42
braking due to
pounds,
system
the
errors
Attack
on
2.0
highways
is built
is
for
highly
those who move with
dangerous,
purpose.
potentially leading to serious traffic
KBRK-62
accidents
Kevlar is a no-nonsense
endangering
fixed blade
lives.
knife engineered for serious
Quality and
fields.
technical issues
Born
with
from
the
the
Auto
collaboration
electric
between
car
KBR
are
and
deeply
legendary
concerning, leaving many owners
This blade
frustrated
delivers
time and wasted tactical
and outdoor professionals.
Out of 365 days in a year, over 100 days are spent dealing with car repairs. If I'm not actually in the repair shop, I'm on my way there. The navigation system has issues.
The Stonewash
calibration
not only
is
gives it a
inaccurate.
low reflection
For example,
profile, but
when I'm on
also
the
adds a
highway,
layer
it
of
might jump
corrosion
to a national
resistance for
road.
extended
The headlights
deployment
often
in
fail to
wet
turn
or
on.
harsh conditions.
And during heavy rain,
BK
compare
rates
from us and our competitors.
walnut handle
This lead
provides
auto
a
car
secure
owner
and
also
grip,
presented a
easy to
stackable
repair
repair
for
record.
adverse weather.
According to him,
It
many
pairs with a
times when he
premium
took
leather
the car to
sheath
the repair
equipped
shop,
with a tactical
they said
grade
there was no
belt
problem, but the
ensuring
car kept
quick deployment
experiencing
and
faults.
secure carry.
There have also
Now
been
we gotta go help
built-in
people
ready
customize and save hundreds of
systems
Weighing
froze,
6.4
couldn't be
ounces,
used proper
the
reverse
Kabar
cross car. The infotainment
BK62
system
Kephart
has
is
been replaced
lightweight
twice.
without compromise.
The car has been repaired
Ready for
to the
bushcraft,
point where it can be
survival,
fixed
or
and more.
backcountry adventures. This blade isn't just gear, it's a trusted companion for any field operator. When facing serious survival situations, you need a backpack that's rugged, reliable, and built for tactical performance.
Another
The
car owner
Sabata
from
Cantamus
Hangzhou,
40 delivers exactly
disclosed that while
that.
driving
Constructed with military-grade material, it's designed to withstand harsh environments and carry heavy loads without compromise. Offering 40 liters of capacity, it easily accommodates all of your essential gear,
a safety
shelter,
provided by
food,
Lead Auto
medical
didn't tighten.
supplies, and
The
tools.
airbags didn't
The
deploy
sliding lid provides additional storage for quick access items, while the internal aluminum frame ensures the pack stays stable and balanced, even under heavy weight. This reduces fatigue during long travels, making your journey more efficient. Comfort is key in demanding situations, and the padded shoulder straps combined with a robust hip belt keep the pack secure and close to your body for better control. The roll top closure protects your gear from the objects, keeping everything dry. Modular and customizable, the PAL webbing system allows for additional mounts and attachments.
What about on the highway?
Compatibility with hydration systems ensures you stay refreshed on the road. When survival depends on your gear, the Cantam facility stands out as a durable, adaptive solution. They build life in the toughest conditions. When survival hinges on having the right gear,
Following the instructions from the after-sales service, he attempted to resolve the issue. It was a stop. The door handle started smoking.
It may look like an ordinary
accompanied by a burning
but don't be fooled.
The cars weren't started. Neither the tires nor
into
the
a sleek, compact design. Beyond smooth, reliable writing, it hides a powerful 100 Hz lumen LED flashlight with high and strobe modes, a glass breaker with a tungsten carbide tip, a bottle opener, a hex driver, a screwdriver, and a ferro rod striker. All built tough from aircraft-grade aluminum to withstand whatever challenges come your way. Lightweight and rugged, the MIXTYPE fits comfortably in your pocket, ready to shine light in the darkest moments to help you break free
arrived at the National Grid charging
It's the kind of
station
tool
to
that's
charge the
soft
electric
enough
car.
for everyday carry,
Found out that
but
it
tough
couldn't
enough
charge
to
at all.
handle emergencies.
I've already tried 10
Always
different
at your
charging
side to
stations,
prepare
but it still doesn't work. I have
When
no
every
idea why it
second
won't
matters in the
charge.
situation
Now the
is
remaining
critical.
range is only
The RAID 2 kit
67 kilometers.
from North American Rescue is the gear you want within reach. Designed for real-world emergencies, this is more than just a first aid kit. It's a battlefield-grade solution built to save lives when all close. Inside, you'll find a complete individual trauma kit engineered for worst-case scenarios. Massive bleeding, severe trauma, and those crucial moments immediately after injury. Whether you opt for basic version or upgrade to include sellouts or combat memories,
the product
every
announced a
component
price reduction of 30,000 yuan within just 2 months.
And if we go through time and time again, we'll see there was points when
of its launch, initially targeting monthly sales of
It's been nearly 3 years, and your brother is back. Peace, family. Brother Reza Islam here with the Intellectual Extremist Podcast. I'm going to let you know something right now. YouTube has let your brother go. They have released me from YouTube jail, if there is such a thing. And I know many of you might not be happy about that. Most of you are, but to the few who are not, I don't give a damn. I'm being polite at the beginning, but just know the reckoning is here. We're about to have some straightening going on. Let me go ahead and just give you a chronological order of things that have transpired and taken place since your brother was taken off of YouTube, shall we? The first thing I want to look at is the fact that I won a court case, federal court case, against the U.S. government that has been going on for 10 years. Some of you knew about it, but again, because we're on YouTube now, I'm finally able to say it myself from my own channel. Case dismissed. Yes, your brother Reza Islam was offered, count it, 6, not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but 6 plea deals. I turned all of them down, and they tried to come after your brother, said I was committing fraud. They said I was not educating the people about drugs or anything dealing with illiteracy. They said all kinds of things about your brother. And it turns out, well, we were innocent the entire time. I said I will not plea to something I did not do. I don't care what they say. I didn't care about all of the threats that they issued. I don't care about any of that. If you are not guilty of a thing, you should not say you are, no matter how much pressure they put on you. And we were successful. Your brother was found innocent. Case dismissed, period. And that is all she wrote. Hand clap, hand clap, hand clap. Thank you to all of you who believed in your brother. Thank you to all of you who trusted your brother, and you knew that this definitely was not legit. But of course, they had to target us as they always do. That's number one. Number two, some of you saw that your brother was engaged. Of course, Brother Riza Islam was engaged, but now Brother Riza Islam is married, full-fledged husband out here. I'm locked down, y'all, happily. I'm all good. Black ring on that ring finger, and I'm very happy about that. But the thing that you missed outside of the engagement and the fact that I'm married is the wedding. I just want to show you this here. Here is just a few clips from the wedding. It was exceedingly beautiful, if I do say so myself. Family came out, friends, people who I hadn't seen in years showed up, and it was a beautiful thing that we were able to put on. I'm very happy about that. I just want to show this to all of you and share this side of my life with you just for a moment, but we're going to go ahead and cut that out because, you know, we're not putting all of our life on the internet. So your brother not only was engaged, your brother not only got married, and your brother not only had a wedding, a very beautiful wedding. And shout out to the queen, Sister Kayla Islam. You already know she gonna get on me if I don't do that. Next point, your brother not only had a wedding, your brother is now a father. Brother Riza Islam is officially a biological daddy out here. And my child is very beautiful, exceedingly beautiful. It is the most interesting feeling I could say that a man could experience, and of course a woman could experience, is having a child. To see yourself reflected in a new human being is something that you don't realize, or you don't really get it until you experience it yourself. To think about it is one thing, but to actually experience it, whole nother thing. Not only did your brother Riza Islam have a child, your brother Riza Islam delivered his own child. I delivered my own child at home in a water birth. Riza, big question. Did you vaccinate your child? And all of you should know the answer to that. A big hell no. Did you just threaten me? I'm going to say that again. A hell no. Did you vaccinate? Absolutely not. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But Brother Riza Islam is a little too aware, educated, and informed to do such a thing. And I'm very thankful we did not. And to all the parents and expecting parents, please do more research about that before considering injecting your child with these shots that more than likely they don't actually need. But again, do your research first. We did not. And I'm very happy to say we did not, because as of yesterday, my child is now 4 months. And at just 4 months, my child gave a full phrase. 3 words. I love you. Clear as day. Here it is right here. And this is not AI.
I love you. I love you.
Oh my God. You heard it. Play it again.
I love you. I love you.
Oh my God. That was not AI. That was our 4-month-old. And there are a lot of things that we do with our child. There are a lot of things we don't do. Breastfed, no formula. We sleep with blackout shades in the room where it's completely dark so that the child can sleep soundly throughout the night. We have rain noises or rain sounds playing throughout the night to help keep that pattern and that flow, so they, you know, do their best to not break the sleep. Sometimes they have that 1 hour that they wake up every hour, or 2 hours, etc. And of course, tummy time, exercising. We read to our child every night. The only TV that our child sees are documentaries, lectures by Minister Farrakhan and all of the great scholars and historians, and one 90s educational cartoon from the 90s, because we are not going to let you program our child with that BS you got going on today. So no. But that also happened with your brother. Next thing that happened with your brother Riza Islam is he became a businessman. Your brother Riza Islam is now providing solutions in the health space. Your brother Riza Islam launched a company, a supplement company called Intellectual Power. And this supplement, which is being taken and utilized by people all over the planet, we have now reached over 2,500 five-star reviews already, and we just came into existence roughly 2 years ago. We're going to actually reach our 2-year anniversary within the next week or two. And we have helped people tremendously in different areas of health. Go to intellectualpower.net to get yours. Not only that, we grow our herbs on our own farm. Sisters, this one is for you. This is called I Am Her Earth Melanated. This is just for the women. Go to intellectualpower.net to see the benefits of that. And brothers, you know we could not forget about you. This one is called the Revolutionary Seed of Source, just for men. Go to intellectualpower.net to see what all the benefits are of these. But while you're looking at that, I want you to be aware, when you are creating business, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, business is warfare. So be prepared to come against some opposition. Your brother Riza Islam owns his own companies. Our farm, and I said our farm, black-owned farm. We grow our herbs. We plant our herbs. We harvest our herbs. We cut them. We dry them. We powder them, and we put them into vegetable capsules, and then, of course, into these beautiful black bottles that you see here, which are glass, not plastic, and it goes from the farm directly to you. We have created upwards of 25 plus jobs for our people. So we're not just talking about it, we are being about it. But not only that, we didn't just create supplements that help with the health of people all over the world. That's one of the companies. Your brother Riza Islam launched another company, and that second company is called Peace Pads. Now, when you ask the question, Brother Riza Islam, what are peace pads? They are exactly what you're thinking. Because I've been discovering and uncovering and educating people about something called depopulation for quite some time, I looked at the different areas of how we're being affected as a people. One area that too often most people overlook is the woman's womb, and in particularly the pads that she uses every single month. So your brother Riza Islam came out with his own line of organic, 100% cotton, sanitary napkins for women. You can laugh, you can say whatever you want to say, you can applaud, but if you look at the studies on what is taking place when it comes to women's health, when you look at endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, when you look at the hemorrhaging, when you look at all of these hormonal imbalances, you will learn that they have conducted multiple studies on different tampons as well as pads, and they have found that there are over 60 different chemicals, including heavy metals, that are in those pads. And all of those different chemicals and heavy metals just so happen to be connected to PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, and all these different issues that women have been dealing with. So sisters, become more educated, and brothers, become educated. If you have a wife, a daughter, an auntie, women in your life at all, you should know about this as well. They have to change from those chemical-filled pads, tampons, including the sanitary underwear that they have as well. Please become educated. So your brother Riza Islam came up with that company, and it is called Peace Pads because, again, all she needs is peace. And the website, peacepads.net. Make sure you go and get that. We have our own warehouse. I'm going to make this very clear. When you decide to stand up against this enemy and this system, you must be, I must be, we must be independent. We have to have our own everything. So we have to establish solutions. We have to establish jobs. We provide jobs to our people so that they don't have to go and rely on this enemy. So we have our own warehouse, roughly 14,000 square feet, and we have all of our staff, black staff. We provided jobs there. So that's 2 companies your brother Riza Islam launched since being taken off of YouTube. Next thing that I want us to look at is you might look at your brother Reza Islam, you're like, dang, brother, you put on some pounds, brother, you need to chill out with all that eating. It's like, no, let me just clear this up for you. This ain't fat now. This ain't fat. So let's be clear. A lot of people pack on all that fat because they start eating, and you're like, man, brother got married, he got that husband weight. He got that daddy weight now. Okay, hold on now, wait, chill out. This is muscle. And I gotta say that to be very clear, because we have to be examples of what it is that we're talking about. Your brother Reza Islam has been exercising for a number of years, and some of you have seen me maybe on YouTube when I had my YouTube up until now, or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Maybe you've seen different videos, but your brother Reza Islam went from just working out to now owning his own gym. That is another thing that has taken place since YouTube decided to put me in jail. And I'm saying that because while they took your brother off, we were working. And if they continue to try to censor, we have to continue working, continue building. And which gym is it that your brother Reza Islam happens to be an owner of? Some of you may know this individual right here. Yeah, that man right there. Yeah, his name is C.T. Fletcher, the one and only Superman from Compton, and your brother Reza Islam happens to be from Compton as well. He is the owner of Iron Addicts Gym, and he asked me to come aboard, and I am now also an owner of Iron Addicts Gym. The mighty IAG, the Valley of the Beast, the one and only. Your brother Reza Islam is not only someone who has been working out at that gym for at least the last 4.5 to 5 years, he is now an owner. I am telling you now, you will not stop the work that we are doing. So when you get censored, continue working. That's all I can tell you. All of this stuff that people have been talking about all over the internet, for the years that I have not been able to defend myself, specifically on this platform and others when they did censor me, let this be a lesson to those of you. And I'm saying that to those who have been talking, to those of you who didn't believe the haters, the liars, the people who were deceiving, who were gossiping and pushing and believing slander. I salute you. You have intelligence, you have discernment, you have good character. Thank you. To you low down Mickey Mouse milquetoast bastards who don't have a spine or who are only entertained by low level things, thank you for continuing to hate, because hating builds character in a person. Thank you for criticizing. Thank you for questioning. Matter of fact, thank you for lying, because the more lies you pushed, the louder the truth became. And now you can't say anything once the people come back to you asking you, why the hell did you say that about Brother Reza when you know that wasn't true? Why were you saying that? And they can't say anything because you have a mountain of evidence of all the lies you spread. So I have to give a major shout out to my haters as well. Thank you for hating, because without you, I don't think I would have made it this far. You can only know what you are made of when you are pushed to a certain limit, and when you grow from that. You can either fail or you can push through. Diamonds are made under pressure. So I thank you for adding such a healthy level of pressure. And make sure you pull up with that same energy in person, because we are not stopping. This is a welcome back message. We back on YouTube, but we have been outside. But I want y'all to understand that. Keep that same energy. Every event that I go to, every platform I pull up on, please know we have the record of all the people. And let me go to the next point so you can understand what took place when Brother Reza Islam was taken off of YouTube. We have filed a lawsuit against the federal government for the censorship of the quote-unquote disinformation dozen. Now, you were on the defensive, Brother Reza. Now we are on the offensive. They slandered us. They took us off of all the platforms. They talked about us all over the internet. They said we were killing people. The president of the United States, Joseph Biden, said we were killing people. They slandered us so heavily that people in real life were threatening certain people on this list. They were having their jobs were removed, their companies, businesses were taken down, all kinds of things. It was really horrible. It was very, very horrible. But it's our time to fight back, and that is exactly what we are doing. So in May of this year, May 15th, 2025. And I'm going to give you the case number so you can go look this up yourself. Case number 325-CV-00543. You see it on the screen here. WWB-MCR, but you see it on the screen here. This is a case of, this is roughly 5 of us, members of the Disinformation Dozen. Aaron Elizabeth, Riza Islam, Sayer G, Christiane Northrup, Dr. Ben Tapper, and Sherry Tenpenny. Now, mind you, these are doctors. These are not insane, crazy people trying to get a dollar. These are intelligent, educated, informed people who love the people enough to where we risk our lives literally to provide you with information, education, solutions, alternatives, true informed consent. And they called us insane, quacks, kooks, and tried to destroy our lives. But who is it that we are suing? Well, let's look at the list together. Who are the defendants? The Global Engagement Center, the Center for Countering Digital Hate, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Acting Director of CISA, Bridget Bean in her official capacity, the U.S. Department of State, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, U.S. Department of State, Secretary of State Marco Rubio in his official capacity, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Director of the FBI, Mr. Kash Patel. You have been put on notice. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, the FCC Chairman, Brendan Carr, in his official capacity, President Donald J. Trump. Yes, he is definitely in our lawsuit in his official capacity. Meta Platforms, which happens to be Facebook and Instagram, Google LLC, X Corp, Rob Flaherty, Vivek Murthy, Elvis Chan, Imran Ahmed, and John and Jane Does 1 through 10. You have all been put on notice. We have received confirmation that you have received and have been served with this document stating that you are now involved in a lawsuit. We are not playing games. And why am I bringing this up? Because there are a lot of people who talk. There are a lot of people who, when they are put under pressure, they bow down, they break, they fold, they wither away, they act like nothing ever happened. They say, you know what, man, I guess I'm not going to win, man. The system is doing this. You know, the white man's going to win. This is within the black community. It's something that we have this weird thing where we still believe the white man is God when he is not. So let me mention this to you as I kind of give you all this overall understanding of why we're even here at this point now. I received an email from YouTube. And this email reads, let's look at it right here on the screen. Hi, Riza Islam, intellectual extremist. We have reviewed your appeal. This was an appeal that I sent in 2.5 years ago to give you an idea. We have received or reviewed your appeal for the following channel, Riza Islam, intellectual extremist. After taking another look, we can confirm that your channel does not violate our community guidelines. Thanks for your patience while we reviewed this appeal. Our goal is to make sure content doesn't violate our community guidelines so that YouTube can be a safe place for all. And sometimes we make mistakes trying to get it right. We're sorry for any frustration our mistake caused you, and we appreciate you letting us know. Let me say this to you, YouTube. Thank you for your admission of guilt. That's in the file. That's in the lawsuit. Thank you, YouTube. Hey, listen, hey, don't take my channel down now. We appreciate it for the admission of guilt because we were speaking the truth. As a matter of fact, not only did we not violate the guidelines, we stood for the people. We were fighting for the lives of the people. Don't you care about the people? The men, women, and children who were being experimented on over the last 3.5 to 4 years? The people who you said should take this poison injection that we know virtually nothing about? The people who trusted you? We were just standing up for them. Well, let me say this to all of you. Let me just give you some examples of things that Brother Riza Islam said that they said I violated the community guidelines on, but now saying that I didn't actually violate the community guidelines. Let's just see a couple things that I said that made them take me down that they're now saying is true. Point number 1, the COVID shot is not safe or effective. True. Social distancing was not scientific, it was just made up. Here is Anthony Fauci saying that it was not scientific, it just appeared. Thank you, Mr. Fauci. We said that blood clots were as a result of these COVID shots, that during the trial data, they showed that blood clots were a thing occurring as a result of these shots, especially in Pfizer. That was true. There was no long-term safety data to determine the efficacy or that they were safe. That turned out to be true. We said that the PCR tests were showing false positives. That turned out to be true. We said that the PCR tests were never designed to be able to detect whether or not a person had COVID or not. That turned out to be true. We said that Fauci was lying, in fact, about gain of function research, whereby the United States government was funding the ability to mutate viruses to make them easily passable or transferable from animals to human beings. We said that Anthony Fauci lied about that when he said that wasn't true. We said it is true, was true, and that is what was happening through EcoHealth Alliance. He lied, and it turns out it was true, and many, many, many other things. We said it. And it turns out, thank you again, YouTube, that what we said was true. Brother Riza Islam did not violate the community guidelines. We actually were telling the truth. We were standing up for the people. We were informing. We were not the disinformation dozen. We were the information dozen. We were the 12 people putting out the data, blowing the whistle, yelling from the rooftop at the very beginning. And we were also providing solutions and alternatives and telling people what questions to ask and what different things they could take. Here's my point. I could sit here and be bitter, which I'm not. I just pray that those of you who went along with this, all of you celebrities, all of you politicians, all of you who are pushing this heavily on the people, I pray that the people do not give you a pass. I pray that the people give you the same smoke that you gave us when we said simply, I want to do a little more research. I don't want to take that. Can you please not fire me? Can you not shut down my job? Can you not kick my child out of school because we don't want to take an experimental shot that does not have full data that we can look at to reference whether or not it is good or not? Can you please treat us as a human being? Can you stop separating us from our families? Can you stop doing all this? I want the people to have the same smoke for them that they had for us. And I mean what I say to you, because the only reason why things like this continue to happen in every generation is because the people go along with it. The time of us going along with this has to come to an end. When people see that they're getting checked for doing wrong things, sacrificing the people to Satan, listening to satanic individuals who don't know what the hell they're talking about just because you have on a white coat and you have PhD next to your name or MD or doctor or any of this nonsense, and you are selling our people out to a satanic system means nothing anymore. We see you. We know you. If they sold you out back then, they will sell you out now. And Brother Riza Islam is not trusting any one of them. I don't want your apology. Talk to the people. Apologize to them. Don't come to me. Thank you, YouTube, for your statement. Again, your admission of guilt that we are placing into the lawsuit. You for sure are on notice about that. But when it comes to those of you who went along with this, I am not the person who is going to ask for forgiveness from the people on your behalf. I'm sorry. I'm not with that. I'm with those who want the smoke. Because a lot of people passed away from this. A lot of people lost family members, children, uncles, aunties, fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, wives, husbands, you name it. People lost people because of what you did. And if some of you think I'm too harsh, shut the hell up. That's your problem. This only happens when people go along with this type of stuff. And we have to end it. You cannot do what was done to the people here in other nations for so long without somebody being held accountable. Fauci should be under the jail or in front of a firing squad. All the people who were a part of it should be under the jail or in front of a firing squad because of their experiments on human beings, violations of humanity. That's it. So although I am very happy that YouTube has allowed me to be back on their platform, I am more so interested in informing, educating, and empowering really the people far more than ever before. And I'm going to give y'all just one more thing here, because you know when it comes to this lawsuit, you heard the people that I named. These are the multi-billion-dollar companies, corporate organizations that have all the best lawyers. And we have lawyers too, clearly. We have some lawyers. But those of us who risked our lives, if you feel that we helped any one of you at that time to be informed even a little bit to make the right decision, when you heard Brother Reza Islam's video, you saw the data I was putting up, you read the documents, you went to the websites, you saw the ingredients, you saw the information, you said, I don't think I should take this, let me wait. And you feel that, you know what, that brother helped me, he helped my family. This is all I ask of you. The link in the description is to support the lawsuit. This does not go to me. It does not go to any of us who are fighting this case. It goes into a trust that is just for the lawsuit itself, to pay for the filing, to pay for our attorney fees. The attorneys said, ask the people for the help, because this is something that we want to do. They already did the groundwork. They did all of the recording. They got all the data and everything. We need your help now, because your brother has been doing this for a long time. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have billions, and none of us do, but who we are going up against do have billions. So what we are fighting for is the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. You know that thing that says freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, you know, all those freedoms that they say we have. Well, they sacrificed us. I want y'all to be mindful here. If they will silence 12 people today, they will silence all of you tomorrow. That was a test to see who would fall in line easily, without any evidence, without any proof whatsoever, just fear. Who would fall in line, who would bow down, who would attack their own people, beat each other up until they fell in line. Many of you fell in line, many of you did not. So now we need your help. Click the link in the description and support us in this fight for the First Amendment of the United States Constitution that will protect your brother's ability, your ability, and everyone else's ability to keep these quote unquote freedoms, because right now they're flimsy. And clearly it's very biased depending on who's talking and what we're talking about. But if we don't attack now, when I say attack, if we don't go after this head on, then we may end up with a social credit system like that in China, where depending on what you say, how you say certain things, certain topics, they bring down your social credit score to where you won't be able to go and buy food. You won't be able to fly on a plane. You won't be able to rent certain things. You won't be able to do certain things because didn't you make certain statements about the president? Didn't you say certain things about, you know, sexes and this religion or that group of people? Didn't you? I'm not interested in living in a world like that. You already know your brother's radical enough, quote unquote. So I would like for us to be able to still communicate and have the ability to do that freely. Click the link below. Also, again, for those who would like to partake in these supplements, which I take every day, Intellectual Power. It is phenomenal. 13 herbs. Go to intellectualpower.net. For the women, you definitely would like to get this. And for the men, I recommend you get this, which is called the Revolutionary Seed of Source. This is your brother Reza Islam. Any topics that you would like for me to discuss, put those in the comment right now. Drop them in the comments. What would you like to hear your brother cover? I'm not into the drama. I'm not into any of the divisiveness. There is a wave of cannibalistic behavior going on where people don't have enough knowledge to discuss heavy duty topics without cutting each other and going at each other. I'm not interested in that. This YouTuber said this about you, Brother Reza. What about, I'm not interested in Negroes talking about me on the internet. Talk to me in person. Get off the internet with this nonsense. We real men out here. Pull up to my gym. Pull up to any events that I'm doing. Pull up in the community when you see where I'm going to be at. Pull up in any city, any venue, anywhere. But on the internet, we're not interested in that nonsense. I find it to be highly effeminate of you. Read a book, study documentaries, and start to discuss things that actually bring about some type of positive, proactive, productive change for the people. That's what we are doing here. So I'm interested in what you want your brother to cover. No topics are off limits. Put that in the comments down below. And we will see you next time, y'all. This is your brother Riza Islam again at Intellectual Extremist, and we will be doing a lot of beautiful things. Make sure you go to RizaIslam.com to stay updated. Put in your email and your phone number. We have a lot of things we are going to be doing, and I appreciate, again, all of you who did support your brother and support all of those who are fighting for true freedom, justice, and equality. Make sure that you support us. We will continue to support you. Peace.
What? Yeah, they're everywhere.
Okay. We had a good weekend. We accomplished a lot. Really learned a lot. They just got the piece on Steve and Jared. Very good. 60 minutes. Any questions? You want to give me a little room here, Jeff?
Just following up on the 60 minutes story. What's your reaction to Israel strikes in Gaza?
Well, we're going to have to see what's happening. We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with the Hamas. You know, they've been doing rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting. And we think maybe the leadership is involved in some rebels with it. But either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is.
Mr. President, on Colombia, Senator Graham, the country of Colombia, Senator Graham stated that he would be imposing tariffs on the country either today or tomorrow. Can you give any details as to how much tariffs might be?
I read the statement and said that's correct.
Opponent is chosen to make a real impact when it matters. The pouch made by Shaw Concepts is just as mission ready. The Raid 2 wears low like a fanny pack, but can be quickly detached and handed off when the situation demands it. Its first spear tube system keeps it secure, yet instantly releasable, ideal for self-aid or assisting others under pressure. This is the kit you carry when you might be the first and only medical response on the scene. Meet the Zune Low 2 Tactical Survival Knife, the ultimate companion for those who thrive on adventure. Built with precision and durability in mind, this exceptional tool features a solid 6mm D2 stainless steel blade, delivering outstanding piercing power and reliability in the field. More than just a knife, it's a dependable partner in the face of tough conditions. Engineered with a military-grade full tang and a perfectly balanced design, the Zune ensures maximum strength, control, and durability. Weighing approximately 0.63 pounds and measuring 9.45 inches in overall length, it's ready to handle any challenge with confidence. Its G10 composite handle is crafted for performance, incorporating a textured matrix of concave and convex particles for a secure, wear-resistant, and slip-proof grip. Crucial when every move matters. Designed with versatility in mind, this knife features multi-angle wearing options. The rotatable sheath, custom auto-lock mechanism, and expandable Kydex scabbard provide safe, convenient carry in any environment. Whether you're hiking, camping, hunting, or on a tactical mission, the Zune Low 2 is built to perform. Check out the William Tell Archery Mini Striker RD, a compact crossbow engineered for tactical precision and survival performance. This isn't just a tool, it's a high-powered, ultra-maneuverable weapon built for speed and reliability in the field. Designed for fast action, the Mini Striker features a 7-inch power stroke and launches bolts at an impressive 330 feet per second. Its impact is formidable, capable of driving bolts up to 4 inches deep into 1/2-inch plywood, making it a serious asset in any survival situation. An integrated crank system reduces the draw weight from 120 pounds to just 40, removing the need for external cocking devices and ensuring you're always ready to fire at a moment's notice. Built with hunters in mind, this mini crossbow delivers precision and power in a lightweight, compact frame. It's highly effective for small game and even capable of taking down a white-tailed deer from 25 to 40 yards. With limbs just 5 inches wide when cocked and a lightweight aluminum body, it's easy to maneuver in tight spots. Whether you're in a ground blind, tree stand, saddle setup, or paddling in a canoe. The Sanjin MMR99 isn't just a radio. It's a compact survival tool designed for real emergencies. Powered by solar, hand crank, and USB, it ensures you stay connected even when the power's out and the skies are dark. It delivers AM, FM, and all 7 NOAA weather channels, along with public alerts to keep you informed when it matters most. But the MMR99 offers more than just broadcasts. It features a powerful LED flashlight with multiple modes, including SOS and Morse code signals, plus a red light for discreet night use. Inside its rugged IP55 rated housing, dustproof, water resistant, and built to withstand rough handling, you'll also find a clock, timer, and a punchy speaker. With Bluetooth streaming, a high-quality sound system, and AUX input, your music never has to stop. It even functions as a power bank via USB output when your phone needs a charge. Whether you're off-grid or facing a power outage, the MMR99 keeps you connected, prepared, and a step ahead. Next up is a tactical flashlight that's anything but ordinary. The Nightcore NWL30 is more of a rugged field tool than a typical torch. Whether you're setting up camp, working late, or holding position in the dark, it delivers up to 3,000 lumens of wide floodlight with seamless control over brightness and color temperature, giving you full, reliable visibility without the guesswork. Mounting is a breeze thanks to its strong magnetic base, tripod compatibility, and full 360-degree rotation. Just set your angle and keep your hands free. But what really sets it apart? It doubles as a mosquito repeller and a power bank. Both features can operate while the light is on, so you stay lit, protected, and charged all at once. Powered by an 18,000 milliamp hour battery, it offers over 130 hours of runtime or acts as backup power for your essential gear. It also features a red light mode, ideal for preserving night vision or sending signals. Water resistant, impact resistant, and built for tough conditions, the NWL30 isn't flashy. It's smart, durable, and ready when you are. Meet your trusty little companion for the outdoors, the Titan Survival Tacoma Mini. This compact fire-starting kit fits effortlessly into your backpack, dry bag, or glove box without taking up much room. It's packed with everything you need to spark a fire when the situation gets tough. Inside, you'll find a durable magnesium block with a built-in ferro rod, allowing you to shave off shavings, strike sparks, and ignite flames even in windy or wet conditions. The kit also includes a sharp, long-lasting Titan Cirrus Strike ceramic scraper, designed with teeth to shred tinder and even sharpen your blade. 5 Choctaw tinder tabs come along for the ride. These ignite quickly, burn hot, and last longer, no matter how harsh the weather. All of this is housed in a rugged waxed canvas pouch that's as tough and reliable as your gear needs to be. Whether you're already out in the field or preparing for your next outdoor mission, you need tactical gloves that can keep up with the action. Enter the Zune Loduzag 6, engineered to shield your hands without holding you back. The palms are fully lined with Kevlar, offering serious resistance against cuts, abrasions, and everyday wear. It's the kind of durability you can count on when things get tough. For added protection, the back of the hand features strategically placed TPR padding. It safeguards your knuckles without adding bulk or stiffness. The gloves remain lightweight and breathable, thanks to mesh fabric that keeps your hands cool when the heat is on. Flexibility isn't sacrificed. Grip, bend, and move freely without struggling to make a fist or handle your gear. Plus, the thumb, index, and middle fingers are touchscreen compatible, letting you use your phone or GPS without taking them off. Whether you're riding, working, or out in the wild, the ZAG 6 gloves are built to protect and perform. When it comes to moving gear efficiently, organization and durability matter most. The Condor Centurion and Colossus duffel bags deliver both, combining heavy-duty construction with smart, adaptable design for any mission or adventure. Constructed from tough nylon and reinforced with textured PVC bottoms, these duffels are built to take abuse, whether you're on the road, in the field, or off-grid. Each bag offers multiple carry options for total flexibility. Use the drag handles or shoulder strap for quick hauls, or switch to backpack mode with the tuck-away shoulder straps when you need hands-free mobility. The Centurion features a 30-liter main compartment, while the Colossus ups the capacity to 52 liters, both expandable to handle whatever your load demands. Inside, mesh compartments keep your essentials organized. Boots, clothing, and gear all have their place. Exterior zippered pockets provide fast access to smaller items, while side grab handles make lifting and loading a breeze. Compact enough to fit in overhead bins, these duffels are equally at home in the back of a rig or under a bunk. Whether you're gearing up for a weekend escape or assembling a tactical loadout, the Condor Centurion and Colossus duffels deliver the reliability and performance serious users demand. For long-range marksmen and wide-open country hunters, the Vortex Impact 4000 stands as the ultimate all-in-one range-finding and ballistic system, offering instant point-and-shoot precision while keeping you locked into your shooting position. Mounted directly to your rifle's rail, this advanced laser rangefinder features an integrated geo-ballistic solver that delivers real-time range, ballistic, and environmental data. It stores up to 10 rifle profiles on board with unlimited additional setups available through the GeoBallistics mobile app via Bluetooth, so you're always dialed in for any rifle or load. Equipped with onboard sensors for compass, barometric pressure, temperature, and humidity, the Impact 4000 ensures pinpoint accuracy in any condition, and thanks to its rugged, waterproof, and shockproof construction, it's built to handle the harshest terrain and the roughest hunts without missing a beat. Let's take a look at the Gerber Impromptu, a tactical pen built for reliability and strength in any environment. Crafted from machined steel and coated in durable Cerakote, it's designed to withstand the elements and resist wear over time. One of its key features is the tempered steel glass breaker tip, capable of breaking through even reinforced glass when emergencies strike. The pen also uses a write in the rain ink cartridge, allowing it to write effortlessly in wet, dry, hot, or cold conditions. With a convenient push-button mechanism for quick one-handed operation, the Gerber Impromptu combines toughness, functionality, and everyday practicality in one compact tool. Some situations call for extra protection, but without making it obvious. The Premier Body Armor 360 is built for exactly that. A discreet, compression-fit shirt designed to carry ballistic panels comfortably under everyday clothing. Each setup includes 2 Level 3A armor inserts paired with a specially engineered polyester compression shirt. The real advancement is in the design. While the armor panels themselves are lightweight and durable, their performance depends on how well they stay hidden and secure. Premier Body Armor achieves this through precision-cut concealment channels and a body-hugging compression fit that keeps the panel stable. No shifting, sagging, or printing. Unlike traditional setups that only guard the front, the Armor 360 wraps protection around your torso, including the sides, without adding bulk. At just 2.5 pounds for the complete system, 2 US-made soft armor panels in the carrier shirt, it delivers full coverage concealment, lasting comfort, and confidence you can wear all day. The Tolster Arc redefines what a modern concealment holster can be. This ambidextrous, tuckable design is celebrated for its precision, fit, and sleek, minimalist form. Tolster engineered the Arc specifically for today's micro-compact pistols with weapon lights, an area often neglected in EDC gear. Crafted from durable 0.93-inch Kydex using a single taco-style sheet, it provides solid molded retention for both the firearm and light attachment. Comfort and adaptability are at the core of the Arc series. It features an adjustable ride height, Tolster's Flex Mod system for a contoured body-hugging carry, a concealment wing that tucks the grip closer to the torso, tuckable belt clips, and support for foam wedges to fine-tune comfort. With compatibility across a wide range of popular handguns and lights, the Arc series delivers the kind of versatility and refinement that few holsters in its class can rival. Meet the Marathon Navigator Pilot Watch, a purpose-built instrument engineered to excel under pressure. Its 41mm asymmetrical case, made from durable fiber composite, is designed to resist shocks and moisture, ensuring dependable performance in the harshest environments. A bidirectional 12-hour bezel makes tracking multiple time zones fast and intuitive, while the 13mm thick case features a robust push-pull steel crown at 3 o'clock and a scratch-resistant sapphire crystal for superior durability and clarity. Inside, the Swiss-made ETA F06 high-torque quartz movement with 3 joules and an end-of-life EOL indicator delivers outstanding accuracy and reliability. In short, the Marathon Navigator Pilot Watch isn't just built to tell time, it's built to keep you mission ready wherever duty calls. Out in the field, power isn't a luxury, it's mission critical. Your comms, GPS, and lighting all rely on it. And when the juice runs dry, you're dead in the water. The Elcom Nest Out Rugged Power Bank isn't your average charger. It's a tactical power asset built for hard use in harsh conditions. Packing 15,000 milliamp hours of fast-charging USB-C power delivery, it keeps multiple devices operational in your mission running. Its design pulls cues from classic fuel canisters. Fitting, since this unit is pure portable energy. With a full IP67 rating, it's waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof, offering mil-spec drop protection that laughs off abuse. The integrated tripod mount on the base turns it modular. You can rig it with lights, panels, or sensors to adapt your camp or field station settings in seconds. Internally, smart circuitry shields against overcharge, thermal spikes, and short circuits, ensuring your gear stays protected in any environment. The silicone armor and reinforced chassis absorb impacts like a tank, keeping it mission ready. At around $67, the Nest Out delivers battle-tested reliability, a compact power solution built to perform when the weather, terrain, and clock are working against you. When speed matters more than sheer size, the SOG Warfighter Axe delivers. Measuring just 8.7 inches overall, this compact axe is built to hit with serious force. Its 4-inch stonewash blade is honed for clean, biting cuts, while the opposing 3-inch spike handles piercing, breaching, or defensive strikes with ease. The head is forged from durable 5CR15 MOV steel and finished in a dark stonewash that minimizes glare and adds to its stealth appeal. True to SOG's signature style, it bears the skull and beret logo, a mark of tactical intent. Despite its solid steel build, the axe weighs only 1.2 pounds, offering exceptional speed and control without sacrificing striking power. The G10 handle scales ensure a rock-solid grip, even in wet or glove conditions, giving you total confidence in hand. With its precision balance and quick handling design, this axe is as much a field companion as it is a tactical weapon. At $70.14, it's a sharp deal for anyone who values performance and reliability in one compact package. Blades and lights are great, but if something goes wrong, the gear that might truly save your life isn't a weapon at all. It's a first aid kit. The North American Rescue Mini First Aid Kit shows that real life-saving power doesn't need to take up much room. Compact enough to fit in one hand, this kit carries everything you'd reach for in a trauma situation. A tourniquet, gauze, vented chest seals, gloves, and other critical tools. There's no filler here, just the essentials proven to keep someone alive. What really sets it apart is the layout. Instead of a cluttered pouch you have to dig through, the MFAK uses a pull-handle design that deploys its contents in a clean, logical order. When adrenaline is high and seconds count, that structure makes all the difference. Mounting is equally smart. The kit attaches to maul or a belt and can be carried vertically or sideways, depending on how you like to run your setup. Of course, the compact form has trade-offs. You won't be stuffing in extras like trauma shears, flashlights, or stacks of extra dressings. And while the exterior mounted tourniquet is fast to grab, it can catch on brush or gear in tight spaces. For anyone looking to maximize capability in minimum space, this MFAK is tough to beat. It's lean, efficient, and built for real emergencies. When your hands are your most valuable tool, ordinary gloves won't cut it. The HWI Gear HKTG gloves are built for those who demand real protection, not just fabric. Crafted from 8mm premium aniline goat skin with reinforced leather palms, they deliver a perfect balance of toughness and dexterity. The back features 9 ounces aramid fabric for cut resistance and flame protection, while an injection molded knuckle guard absorbs hard impacts when the work gets rough. What really sets them apart is the ergonomic contour cut. It mirrors the natural curve of the hand, giving you fluid movement without stiffness. A wrapped trigger finger design offers precise control for shooters, and a secure hook and loop closure keeps the fit tight through hours of use. Though engineered for tactical missions, the HKTG gloves have earned respect in construction sites, garages, workshops, and anywhere rugged hands meet tough jobs. HWI gears focus on advanced design and durability, shine through every stitch. At $71, they're an investment, but one that pays off for anyone who needs reliable performance under pressure. The Faro Concepts Bison Belt isn't your run-of-the-mill tactical rig. It's mission-built with input from special operations and law enforcement professionals, engineered to perform when the stakes are high. The outer belt packs a laser-cut thermoplastic core, rigid enough to carry a full combat load without flex or sag, yet lean and lightweight for reduced bulk. Multi-compatible webbing runs the length, allowing seamless integration of pouches, holsters, and tools. Up front, a D-ring Cobra buckle delivers rock-solid retention and rapid release when needed. The Velcro-lined inner belt ensures a stable platform and fast donning or doffing. That said, the stiff chassis can dig in during extended wear if your loadout isn't properly balanced, and users running non-mall gear may find it overbuilt for their needs. The premium materials and design also put it at the higher end of the price spectrum. Still, for operators and serious shooters who demand a low-profile, high-strength belt system that thrives under pressure, the Bison Belt earns its place in any mission-ready kit. Reflex sights are everywhere these days, but few are truly built to stand up to the demands of real-world tactical or law enforcement work. The Aimpoint Duty RDSMR is one of those rare exceptions, purpose-built for professionals who need reliability above all else. Compact, rugged, and surprisingly versatile, the Duty RDSMR features a multi-reticle system with 3 selectable options: a precise 2 MOA dot, a fast acquisition 65 MOA circle, or a combination of both. This setup lets you adapt instantly between close quarter speed and long-range accuracy. No swapping optics required. Controls are simple and intuitive, with tactile push buttons that make brightness adjustments easy even under pressure. The flush-mounted design helps prevent accidental changes or snags during movement. Battery life is another standout. Up to 30,000 hours over 3 years of continuous operation on a single battery at setting 7. The optic also includes a true off mode, 8 daylight settings, and night vision compatibility. At just under 4 ounces, it's impressively lightweight, yet packed with features like instant on motion activation, ensuring it's ready the moment you need it.
I mean, I wouldn't have passed that up either, man. That's a heck of a deal.
I mean, yeah, it is crazy. I mean, they were so cheap. You know, how could you kind of turn it down with the sale? And sure, it's like airsoft quality, but honestly, it's just as good.
Honestly, just as good. It was on sale. Airsoft quality. It's the same thing. Definitely
When is your gear good enough? When is your rifle good enough? The optic, the sling, or even that $200 little M-lock attachment you saw on Instagram at 2 a.m.?
When it comes to life-saving equipment, is anything ever really good enough? I mean, after all, at the end of the day, is it this life or death? Well, here's the truth. At some point, it has to be good enough because guns and rifles and tactical kit, all of that stuff is just one piece of the preparedness pie. And most of us are not swimming in doomsday trust fund baby type money.
So today we're going piece by piece through the tactical preparedness world and analyzing what is actually good enough and where it starts to tip over into just tactical cosplay.
Our point of target building, we got him 30 anyways.
Now, should your aim be to settle and buy the lowest tier possible? No, that's not what we're saying at all. But if you're spending money on super high-end Gucci gear without having all of your other needs met, you're really spending money on something like a Ferrari spoiler and bolting it onto a PT Cruiser with 3 flat tires and no spare in the trunk.
I mean, we've all seen it. Some of us have even been it. You know, dudes rocking $15,000 night vision rigs and Gucci kit and, you know, IR lasers that can signal to Mars. But back at home, we only have 4 days worth of food in the pantry, and we think that a Brita water pitcher is our water plan if things go sideways. So if that's you or someone you know, listen up, because all the high-speed gear in the world doesn't matter if the rest of your preps aren't absolute dumpster fire.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
So before you go out and buy another rifle or upgrade your sling, which you already upgraded last month, make sure that you hit a few key priorities. And we've hit on some of these things before, but you really need to ask yourself, do I have enough?
World doesn't matter if the rest of your preps aren't absolute dumpster. World doesn't matter if the rest of your preps aren't absolute dumpster fire.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding.
But back at home, we only have 4 days worth of food in the pantry, and we think that a Brita water pitcher is our water plan if things go sideways. So if that's you or someone you know, listen up, because all the high-speed gear in the world doesn't matter if the rest of your preps aren't absolute dumpster fire.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
So before you go out and buy another rifle or upgrade your sling, which you already upgraded last month, make sure that you hit a few key priorities. And we've hit on some of these things before, but you really need to ask yourself, do I have enough water to not panic? Do I have enough food to not die? You see, every family in America should have a few key priorities that they hit the good enough category before they start investing more and more money into each other category. So you need to hit that baseline of good enough before you continue to go to the high performance, high tier level.
Water, security, food, mobility. The caveat is none of these should come at the expense of your family being in financial slavery. Let's say you've entirely maxed out your credit cards, but you still don't even own a concealed carry handgun. You may be asking yourself, well, what's another $500?
Don't talk to me about style. You're broke people.
Well, maybe instead of going over your limit, you should sell a tunic and buy a sword. It's literally in the Bible. Now, anytime this subject comes up, a lot of people are like, oh, well, if things get hard, I'm just going to scavenge or trade for supplies. That is not a plan. That is a plot line from The Road or The Walking Dead.
Now, we also need to ask good enough. Good enough for what, though? Are we talking about an active shooter, civil unrest, or total societal collapse? Because each of those categories is going to be answered differently depending on who it is that you're talking to. And maybe you're like us, and you think that civilians should have all of the capabilities that the U.S. government is able to employ overseas or here at home. We simply think that we need to be the check and balance that our founding fathers put in place for the citizenry to be. Additionally, it's important for us to keep that torch lit in order to pass on to future generations that may be living in more difficult or more confusing times than we're living in right now. But if our only purpose is to deal with an active shooter situation at church on Sunday morning, then our gear really only needs to reflect that level of capability. You don't need gear that is good enough for Instagram clout. You need gear that actually fits your life needs. You need to answer that question for yourself and stop spending money there. Period.
So with that survival pep talk out of the way, let's actually get into the gear and figure out what is worth spending your money on and what is just superfluous tactical FOMO. And just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with superfluous tactical FOMO as long as it's not coming at the expense of all the other things.
Guys, we got to take just a second to thank some of the sponsors that make content possible for you guys for free on YouTube every single week. So first and foremost, Steel Industries. Now, does night vision or lasers or any of these other accessories actually fall into the good enough category? They absolutely can. It just depends on what it is that you're doing. And we'll get more into that in depth later on in the video. But if you're looking for quality night vision at an affordable price, you need to go check out Steel Industries. Their customer service team is second to none. So if you have any questions before or after you buy, make sure you hit them up. They're a really good team selling quality products.
Speaking of quality products, Wetworks, we've been using their nylon for quite some time now. Not only are they good quality, but they're actually very affordable. So this super slick rig, which has become our go-to plate carrier, it's only like 130 bucks, and it has held up very well. And we've been pretty brutal on these and poured blood all over them and got dust and dirt and drug them around everywhere. They're legit. So if you're looking for an affordable plate carrier to get good enough in the armor category, check out Wetworks. They're legit.
Finally, guys, we have the DOS Boot, which is a +2 mag extension designed to go onto 20 rounders, but you could put them on 30s or even 40s. These come from none other than Die Free Co.
They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, they actually are. Now, one of the best upsides is the fact that it is rounded on the bottom. So if you are trying to get a different angle while you're shooting, the bottom of the magazine is not going to cause you to be barely rocking up on just one of the lips of the mag. They come in a 3-pack, and the cost is still yet to be determined because we were filming this before these have actually come out. So hit the link in the description. Go check out how much they cost. Knowing Die Free Co., they're going to be a competitive price point. And with the little bit of shooting that I have done with them, I do like them a lot. They do not change the reliability of the PMag. So +2 extra rounds and the added benefit of stable shooting. Links in the description for all these brands. And with that, let's get back to the video. Let's kick it off with something fun. Let's begin with rifles. So what is good enough when it comes to a carbine? Well, you kind of need to start by asking, what are you doing with it? For us, we view these not as hunting tools, but as personal security or personal protection devices of some kind. So the barrel length and the optic magnification or whatever else is probably going to fit your personal needs. Now, Drew and I are blessed to work in the industry, and so we do run around with some fairly nice stuff because we either get things at discounts or we get stuff for free. So don't think that we only shoot the Gucciest stuff. No, we still love really good quality guns like this. So as a great example, Drew has a Shorty 10.3 BCM upper.
11.5?
11.5 upper. That's what I said. What's an inch? Now, BCM, whether you're buying it used or new, is it hits a category where you get a lot for the dollar amount. Now, for all of these categories, I'm sure you can relate to whether it's guns or cameras or anything else that you're into. If you double your money and you go from a BCM and you spend double the price point for just an upper like that, let's say it's $800 with the bolt carrier group and charging handle. If you spend $1,600, are you getting double the performance? No, not necessarily. You may be getting 10 or 20% better performance, and you'll see that as we kind of talk through some of these guns. So a roughly $800 upper, and then moving back, you may assume, that's a super expensive $3,000 end gulp, but it's not. Drew, tell them what this actually is.
It's basically an airsoft version of it, but it's a good airsoft version of it. 4MR Ranch has done some incredible reviews on this particular unit, and in our experience, it's worked pretty well. Is it just as good? No. But is it good enough for what we do? Absolutely. And what Josh said about upgrading your rifle and doubling your money and hoping you get double the performance, there are so many items within this space where once you hit kind of good enough, you have diminishing returns as far as what your money is getting you for performance. So unless it's something that you're super passionate about, unless shooting rifles and training is something you're doing at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week or every single day with dry fire, then I would say going above the level of a BCM or the price of a BCM is probably not the wisest decision unless you've just got money to throw around.
Yep, exactly. And that's not to say that BCM is lower quality, it's just that what you get for the price point is amazing. So this optic, the Aimpoint RDS comes in at $500 with the mount, with the caps and everything. So when you compare it to something like an Aimpoint T2 with a ScalarWorks mount, super Gucci, really nice, it's about $1,000. So again, you're doubling your money, whereas some of the features like I need to push buttons as opposed to rotate a knob to get my brightness settings, one is a little bit nicer and easier to do with gloves on, but all things considered, for $500, you're still getting Aimpoint quality red dot with the mount, and yes, it works very, very well.
I would even say that certain Holosun models are good enough. I mean, I've had Holosuns for years with tens of thousands of rounds on them, and they've held up pretty well. So like, again, it just goes to your use case. How often are you using this? How much is this like your way of life? And based on that, you can decide, do I want something like a Holosun? Should I bump something up to like a mid-level aim point, which is like, you know, touching that Gucci category, but it's not actually all the way up there? Or do I want to invest in something that will literally last me the rest of my life, like an Aimpoint T2 or something like that?
Yeah, and then there's another side of the conversation, which you could, I mean, here's a great example of it. Same as the Aimpoint. When you're looking at a more budget-friendly option, whether it's optics or helmets or anything else, do you go the highest dollar amount from an entry-level company, or do you go the more entry-level price point for a Gucci company? Great example, the Leupold Mark IV. So Leupold is known for really high quality, but also the Leupold Mark V that I run around with, that whole rig is about $3,000 with all the accessories that I have on there. Whereas this Leupold Mark IV is a 1:4 with a 30mm mount. I have an exposed top turret with fine adjustments at 0.1 mil radian. You get a lot out of it for $1,000, and then you get a mount for $100 or maybe a few dollars more. And for, let's say, $1,200, you're still getting a 1:4 with a crisp reticle, shake awake red dot. When you pick that gun up, the dot just automatically turns on. So I tend to prefer buying a high quality, high tier brand, but at that entry level price point. Again, same goes for the Aimpoint. Now, another really cool way that you can go is saving money on things like a magnifier. As long as the magnifier works and holds zero, like this one from SIG, this is their Juliet. It comes in at about $170. It works, to my eye, just as good, that's actually true, as one of the EOTech G33s. Now, some people like magnifiers, some people don't. I'm not the biggest fan of them because you get multiple panes of glass. There's a lot of things that can be messed up in there when it's foggy or rainy, but I digress. For $170 behind a $500 red dot, you're getting very competitive performance for significantly less money. Lastly, on this rifle that I put together, when it comes to lights, you can spend $300 plus on just the light body without even getting into some of the pressure pads or tail cap accessories. And people have talked about this at nauseum on YouTube and around every gun store in America, but Streamlight, for the money, is amazing.
Yep.
Yes, there are better lights out there that give you 10, 20, 30% better performance, but for $150 or even $100, if you're buying something used, Streamlight products, they do work, and they have held up for both of us for many years.
So the first rifle I ever got was a Smith & Wesson M&P 15, and that was the rifle that I grew up like upgrading and learning how to use and training with, and I'm sure that I put at least 20,000 rounds on that thing, and by the time that I got rid of it, it was still functioning just like the day I bought it. I had a Streamlight ProTac 2L, I think, light on it with a super cheap mount. I had a Holosun red dot and just a really cheap sling, and all of those items, I mean, they were good enough for me and what I was doing at the time. To be honest, they're probably still good enough for me right now. I would not balk at having to use that gun every single day.
So for both Drew and I, we have about $800 in just the upper without the accessories, and the upper half of the gun really is the expensive part, but if you're looking to save some money, the lower is where you can really save some money. There's a lot of companies that have ambidextrous attachments and extended mag releases and so on and so on. There's nothing wrong with those. And if you're left-eye dominant, right-handed shooter, there are times where you need to spend money on some of those things. But all things considered, both Drew and I have bottom of the barrel. I have a PSA lower. He has an Anderson lower. They still function just fine. It's the housing that's holding all of the tools on the inside. So spending decent money on like BCM, lower parts kits, but saving money on the lower itself is a really good way to get the same performance and a good lifespan out of a tool like this without going overboard on cost.
I have a super cheap Anderson lower that has been on every Gucci rifle I've ever owned. Shoots the same.
Now, if you are buying some used components, there's a few things to pay attention to and swap out. And we kind of did a whole video on this, talking about what items go the fastest on ARs and Glocks, and some tools that I keep around. So if you do buy an upper that's not new, and you're just wanting to make sure that everything is right where it needs to be and as fresh as possible, your gas rings on your bolt, they start to wear out typically at about 5,000 rounds, especially if it's unsuppressed, 5,000 to 6,000 rounds. And then the buffer spring, that action spring is moving and compressing every single time you pull the trigger or you pull that bolt back. Upgrading the spring to something like a Spring Co. And again, refreshing those gas rings to either BCM or Spring Co. for those gas rings is going to put some new life back into the gun. It's not like changing out a whole barrel kind of cost, talking about like $30 at the most, but that really does help with reliability and performance.
All right, so handguns. When it comes to handguns, what is good enough? Well, let's start with the Gucci, right? Something like a Flux Raider with a super fancy agency slide. Do I love this thing? Absolutely. Do I have a ton of fun with it? Yes. Are there use cases for it? Absolutely, especially if you live in a place where you can't exactly get a rifle, but you can still run a handgun. Like, yes, there is a purpose for it. But is it just good enough? No, it is absolutely up there in the Gucci category. So by not owning something that's Gucci like this, are you missing out? You're missing out on fun. Absolutely. Like, I have a ton of fun shooting this thing. But when we bring it back down to reality and what is good enough, truly good enough, it's not this. It's not fancy slide upgrades. It's not crazy cuts on your slide or the stippling, although I do think stippling is a great upgrade for a handgun. It's just your basic stuff.
Yeah, so here we have 3 different categories that people would consider to be a budget, a good enough, and a Gucci category. Well, I'm here to tell you all 3 of these guns from the same manufacturer do the same thing. They take the same magazines and they have the same reliability. Now, there are some additional upgrades to some of these things like lights or better triggers or optics. But at the end of the day, you still have a responsibility to perform with a Glock. If you are carrying a Glock, your outcome should still be the same. Now, Drew made a really good point, which is if you treat it like a sport and you're trying to go from 10% capability to 90% capability, regardless what gun you are given, the first time you go shooting, you still need to grow to get to that 90% capability. So when we're talking about guns ranging from $700 with the holster all the way up to $2,000 plus for a Glock, I would say that having a stock Glock 19 or 17 is going to be that good enough category. And if you're worried about having a light on there, man, get yourself a good quality Streamlight. Again, Streamlight handheld and dry fire till your hands are bleeding. No joke, that really is the way to start to make the performance happen. Because if I have a $700 Glock, I spend $300 on a red dot, that's still only giving me a percentage of capability, whereas me dry firing and getting better can get that 10% capability with the exact same gun. So what is good enough in the handgun world? A quality pistol with good iron sights and a good $100 holster. It's going to get a lot of the issues of your handgun out of the way.
Just remember that in any skill set, when you're trying to master it, it's that last 2 to 3% towards mastery that take the vast majority of the time, or let's say 300 or 400% effort just to get 1 to 2% better. Upgrades for rifles and guns and even kit, you can kind of think about in the same way. There is a level at which it is absolutely acceptable. And if you genuinely care about it, if you use it a lot and if it's important to you, then it might be worth it to invest the, extra money to get marginally better. But you're not going to go like leaps and bounds better than what was just good enough. Now, before we move on to the next level, we do need to say that medical is definitely one of those parts of like your level 1 good enough kit. And when it comes to the medical items themselves, do not skimp on them at all. Pay for good, reputable products from good, reputable brands. American Rescue is who we get most of our stuff from. And some way to have that with you at all times. Maybe not like when you're going to get groceries, but at least in your vehicle. So for me, I just have a simple Rebel Raiders apothecary bag. I think these things are like, I think I bought it for like $45, $50. And inside here I have multiple tourniquets. I have chest seals. I know it sounds silly because it's like, oh, chest seals are only really good for gunfights. It's like, Man, I grew up in Kentucky. Do you know how many times someone in our county was driving their four-wheeler and hit a buck and it punctured their lungs and like went clean through? Like,
or even just a stick.
Yeah, or even just a stick. Like, it happens a lot, especially in the country. So like chest seals, pressure bandages, gauze, a good pair of trauma shears, which I'll say the typical trauma shears that you get are absolute garbage. These X shears have been phenomenal. It is, and we've talked to other dudes in the medical field, like these are the ones to get. We don't get any kickback from it. I'm just saying the normal ones are absolute garbage. Also, just a basic radio. You don't need a big, like, encrypted or a super special high terror radio or anything like that. We have those, but just a simple bail thing or quenching. We've talked about these before. Goes a very long way. And this is just a typical IFAC, just packed into something I have with me all the time. This is absolutely good enough. But to get good enough in this category, do not skimp.
And you'll notice when we're talking about medical and the need for medical, we don't have any of these tied to kit. These are not wrapped around a big plate carrier or a chest rig or anything like that. And the reason for that is because this can go into any backpack. If I'm flying somewhere, the trauma shears can come out, but I can have medical with me. If I'm getting in my car, I know I have medical. If I'm going to the range, again, I know I have medical. It can go around my waist or in a backpack. Yeah, if you want to put medical onto kit of some kind down the road, that's great. But having a solution where it can go with you everywhere that you go, you and your family know what it is when they see it, that really is the basic level of everyone should have that taken care of before you continue to move on to some of the Gucci stuff.
Also, splints and a boo-boo kit. I know a boo-boo kit sounds stupid, but like, dude, it gets used more than anything else. Heck, I think my kids like pretend to hurt themselves on purpose just so that they can get a Band-Aid. For all you dads out there, you know exactly what we're talking about.
So wrapping up guns, and before we get into kit, we do have to point out something that is very little talked about, which is the fuel for your own capability, the ammunition. And we'll throw in the magazines there as well. So if you find yourself spending significantly more money on optics and suppressors and muzzle devices and slings and all these other attachments, and don't get me wrong, cool stuff, but you are not putting a lot of time through your gun or through your equipment to get better yourself, then you are a collector and you are not a trainer. You are not working to be a better individual with the tools that you own. And I like collecting cool stuff as well, but for most of us, we're never going to outshoot the firearms that we own. My Glock outshoots me. I am the problem there. My $6,000 rifles outshoot me. I am not outshooting it, and the ammunition is what starts to get us 10%, 2% better every day we dry fire, or every day that we actually go out to the range and put some time in. So how many magazines should you have before you can say, I have enough, I don't need to keep spending? I would say double a fighting loadout. So if a standard fighting loadout for an AR is 7 mags, 6 on you, 1 in the gun. So if you double that, that's a really good place to start and start prioritizing some of your categories. For ammunition, depends on how much you're shooting, but I would much rather be a friend of someone who has so much more ammunition and 1 or 2 ARs as opposed to the other way around. So how much ammunition should you have on hand? It's kind of a sticky question. I would say 2,000 rounds of fighting and 2,000 rounds at all times of training ammo for every caliber that you own is probably good enough. And yes, that's a lot of money, but that should help you reprioritize. Do I need to go from an Aimpoint $500 red dot to an Aimpoint T2? No, because I don't have that much ammunition on hand. That needs to become a priority first.
Now, everything that you just saw is good enough for today's problems, if I'm being completely honest. If you're worried about being secure and having personal protection for the problems of today, the worst of which may be something like an active shooter situation, you are good enough. You should not feel the need to go out and buy a plate carrier, and armor, and chest rig, and helmet, night vision, sustainment gear, and a full outdoor loadout for 3 days to a week at a time, you're good enough. But if you do feel that need to not just be prepared for the problems of today, but to also be prepared for the problems of tomorrow, and I use tomorrow as a blanket term for much worse scenarios, then you can start looking at things like this. Now, this is where we're at. Me and Josh and the dudes that run in our crew, we're very focused on the problems of tomorrow. We've got our problems of today checked off, squared away. It's something we have to revisit all the time and make sure we're staying up on, but we are passionate about the problems of tomorrow also. And if you do feel that urge, and it's a genuine urge, it's not just this is cool and I want it. If you feel like, hey, that is something that I want to make, normal for my family. I want to live that kind of lifestyle. I think it's important to keep that torch alive in all of my future generations. Then, yeah, it's time to look at stuff like that. When it comes to kit, there are 3 major things that people tend to think about first: plate carriers, chest rigs, and belts. Let's start with belts. Where do you feel like that falls in terms of the priority of getting kit?
Yeah, when I first got into all of this stuff, I thought that belts were the answer to everything. I can throw just a belt on, and I can have my pistol, and I could have water on there, and extra mags, and medical, and the next thing I knew, I just couldn't move nearly as fast. So when you take that belt off and you move the weight and that equipment up to your chest, whether it's on a chest rig or a plate carrier, you're just increasing your mobility factor. Also the ability to sit down comfortably in a car. I'm not saying don't get a belt. There's definitely a time and a place for a belt, but it is not where I start when it comes to good enough gear and just the beginning levels of what do I need. Even today, I really like not having a belt. When we go do AMS, I don't think either of us wear a belt. If anything, it is nothing but a holster. So if I am wearing stuff on my waistline, what I much prefer to do is have a quality belt, a Safari Land holster that just runs through my everyday agonic belt, and then maybe a magazine carrier or 2 that can go onto that belt. But I don't like having all of this extra weight and bulk if possible.
This is kind of a preference. We just think that belts are the least important piece of kit that you can possibly have. I mean, you can have this other kind of kit and still run an appendix holster. Like, it's not a problem. You just got to get used to it and train with it. As far as belts go, though, because they do have their place, what would be a good enough belt for kit?
So 2 options is you either go buy something used, like a good Vikings belt, or you get a quality leather belt that's sized up to go over your pants, and then your gun and holster come out of your EDC and go in here. So this is a good option. This is a Magpul Tejas belt. Everything is already on there, as in 1 pistol mag, 1 rifle mag, and a dump pouch. Or, like I mentioned before, all of these components just weave into the belt that you're already wearing. So if you are going to go get a belt, they tend to be made very, very well. A lot of manufacturers are making belts with the idea that they need to be able to rappel out of a helicopter off the side of a mountain. So as far as durability, dude, if you go buy something used, it's going to hold up. It's going to be just fine. Or you save a little bit more money and you get a good leather belt and you just throw your attachments on there. So aside from belts, the next big debate, at least online, is should you go with a chest rig or a plate carrier of some kind first? Where do you land on that?
I personally don't think that debate will ever die. Like, there will, as long as the internet exists, people will argue between, whether or not you should get a plate carrier with armor or a chest rig first. We kind of fall into the category of both. And the way that we like to do that is to not blow all of our money on kind of like an assault style direct action rig like this, which if that's what you do, awesome. We love our direct action rigs like Spiritus plate carriers, which are actually very versatile and can actually cover a myriad of uses, or a Cry JPC. What I think would be a better use of your money, if you're trying to get good enough in this category, you want to knock both of these out in one fell swoop, is a slick plate carrier. A very just basic, it holds plates, and that is it. Okay, it does the job of providing you armor. And then from there, you get a chest rig that can go over it. This has been done for a long time. It's starting to come back in popularity, and for a very good reason. because it just gives you more versatility. You don't always have to wear your plate carrier. You don't always have to wear your chest rig and all of your ammo. You can split it up and go either way. So as far as where you spend your money, I would get an affordable slick rig and maybe spend a little bit more money on a quality chest rig.
So as a great example, one of our favorite slick plate carriers is the Cry MBAV, but they don't make them anymore. But then we figured out that Wetworks is doing a good quality plate carrier, the slick plate carrier. This comes in at about $130. And then as far as chest rigs, if you're a fan of split rigs, if you want something that's a traditional style, whatever it is that you're looking for, yeah, I would agree with Drew. Don't necessarily try and skimp and save your money on the chest rig, just because, dude, if you're putting that on, you're probably carrying a good amount of gear and you're probably up and down, dragging your chest across a lot of stuff, and you want to make sure that all of the gear is retained there. So this one from Velocity Systems, actually I believe it's Mayflower now. This one's about a $200 chest rig. You can buy them used. You can load it out and build it out the way that you want. This is actually not a large chest rig. This is still a fairly compact rig, but it's comfortable enough that I can be in it for 12 to 24 hours at a time and still work with what I need. Also keep in mind, when you're building out something like this, to still be able to throw a pack on the back. We've done a lot of other content on that, but if you're needing to scale up, you can. But this kind of system allows you to scale without being locked into this rig only does one thing for me, whereas a combination like this plus a sustainment backpack gives me a lot of versatility.
As far as chest rigs go, if you are trying to save money, a good old-fashioned TAPS rig that the Marine Corps has tested and proven for many years. You can get those used for cheap, like $50. And that rig will go well with you in whatever it is that you're doing. It's not the latest, it's not the fanciest, it's not the slickest, it's not the lightest, but it will get you good enough in the kit category. So affordable slick rig, chest rig, you're good to go. All right, headborne systems. We have bump helmets, we have ballistic helmets, we have night vision, there's also thermal.
Yep, so that's a whole other conversation that people have been wrapped up in on the internet. Do I get a bump or a ballistic dual tubes? Do I need thermal? Here's where I boil it down just to make it as simple as possible. I would rather have a ballistic helmet and a PBS-14 than a bump helmet and dual tubes. But I would also rather have a bump helmet and night vision than ballistic and no night vision. So there's kind of these tiers. If you are getting anything for a helmet, night vision is the priority. Ballistic is nice. If you're spending all of your money on dual tubes and you just can't quite get ballistic, maybe reprioritize where that money is going. Now that's just my take. At the end of the day, I am not putting something like this or something like this on just for stargazing. I am buying this stuff to be able to, unfortunately, protect my family if things do ever get weird, and I'd like to be able to have ballistic protection even in the daytime. So a ballistic helmet and PVS-14 to me is good enough, or a PVS-14 and bump as opposed to no night vision at all.
Now for other people, myself included at times, I would rather have ballistic protection and say a thermal, okay, as opposed to a bump or even a ballistic with night vision. Now this is very user specific. You may have other priorities. Like, I know there's a very good case to be made, and one that I tend to agree with a lot, that a ballistic helmet is far more important than having any kind of helmet with night vision on it. Starting with the ballistic, because it protects you, is a good idea. What I would say to that is, I don't disagree. However, whether or not you have a ballistic or a bump helmet, your training doesn't change. Whereas if you have night vision, that is something that you can be training in the meantime, in the in-between time of now and whatever horrible thing happens tomorrow. So if you know within like the next 1 to 2 years, you want to have a ballistic helmet with night vision, I would say go ahead and get a super cheap used bump helmet, put a PVS-14 on it. The moment you can afford, start training with it, the moment that you can afford a ballistic helmet, you swap it out. That's like the best play and the wisest use of your finances if you're trying to get to that good enough.
Beyond helmets, in headborne systems, there's another category that could be arguably far more important. So let me pull your ear a little bit in regards to gas masks. Let's say that it is past today. We're not talking about CS gas being deployed in your major city. We're talking about some form of societal breakdown, and it could even just be the electricity or the plumbing is out in your major town, and you know enough to dig a hole and go to the bathroom outside. You are not defecating in toilets that are overflowing, but you need to go trade food and water, or help your grandma get out of her apartment complex. And everyone in the city does not, A, have anywhere to go because the parks are filled, or they don't know to leave their apartment complex, and they are defecating, there are animals dying, people are drinking bad water, and they're getting super sick. The flies and now bacteria is growing. The buildings are starting to shut down because you don't have good airflow in the buildings, and everything is falling apart in literally just a matter of days. If you need to go into an area where there's a lot more people, bro, you better be putting a gas mask or at least some form of a filter over your mouth and your nose to protect yourself. Otherwise, you are seriously running the risk of picking up a lot of bad illnesses. Even EMTs and firefighters, when they go into a hoarder's house in the middle of a perfectly good city, they know to start putting masks on, because the stuff that is inside of those buildings that's been left for a period of time is going to be causing irreversible harm to your respiratory system or even to your vision. So, gas masks. Where do they land and the importance in comparison to helmets and night vision?
I would say that depending on where you live and what's around you, that can change. Like for us, we live in the middle of nowhere. There's actually not very much industry around us in terms of like plants that have chemicals in them. And if we are talking about societal collapse, like inevitably people are not going to show up for work, buildings start to deteriorate, the things within them, like no one's checking for leaks or anything like that. Like it's very possible that areas around industrial manufacturing can be not necessarily uninhabitable, but not great to breathe in. So for us, I prefer ballistic and night vision because I need to navigate out here in the middle of nowhere. But for most people, I would say a gas mask is actually far more important than having night vision and a ballistic helmet. And it's also cheaper by far. But in terms of price, gas masks are one of those areas that I do not skimp out on because I consider it a part of the medical family. And just like we talked about previously, anything medical related, I don't get budget. I don't get good enough. I go above and beyond. I pay whatever the price is because I don't mess around with that. I'm not a doctor, and developing that skill set would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and another 10 years of my life, and I'm not going to do that. But it's respiratory stuff. It has to do with your respiration, has to do with your eyes, and in that regard, like I'm sticking with Avon. They're the only like civilian accessible, NIOSH approved, US made gas mask company that has been tested and tried for many, many years in some of the worst places in the world. So that's why I go with Avon for that. As far as respirators go, you can go super cool, you can go super fancy, but if we are talking about employing this stuff all together, having something like the miters, which makes it easier to shoot with, and if you're not worried about the shooting and you're just worried about just getting around, like, yeah, you can go and get an N95 mask from Home Depot, and that's good enough. Sustainment and survival gear, things like big rucks and all the things that go in them. Where does that fall into the priority list, and where can we get just good enough? Well, I've used some pretty cool rigs over the years, and there's certain ones that I prefer. However, I use a cheap used Gregory pack that was from REI. It was like a refurb from REI for many, many years. I mean, I've gone hundreds of miles on foot in some weird places in America, and it served me just as well as fancy tactical stuff. I like the tactical stuff. I want, I'm really invested in that. I enjoy it, but just having a simple hiking backpack was good enough. Now, whenever it comes to sustainment, before you go all in, there's another major consideration.
Yeah, if you find yourself investing in a lot of gear that's for outside of the house. I have this amazing folding saw that costs a lot of money, and it's made of titanium, and it can fold up and go inside of my backpack. I have a water filtration system that's going to be able to get me taken care of at a campsite. But again, you don't have any of those things taken care of for around the house and at home, then your priorities might be out of whack. Now, if based on where you live and if you're married or not, if you have kids or not, if your plan, if things get weird, is to leave the house, then yes, absolutely. Having mobile tools for water, for food, for security, as well as being able to carry some of this stuff outside of a vehicle, great. But if you're like me and your plan is to just kind of hunker down and take care of things at home, all of this going out and doing recon and I need to have sustainment on my back, it's good, but it needs to come after you take care of all those things at home. So Even things like, can you replace your back screen door to keep bugs and mosquitoes out from coming in? Do you have more of that mesh? Do you know how to replace one of those things? Do you know how to run a chainsaw? Do you know how to resharpen the chain blades? Do you know how to do the correct fuel mixture? Do you know how to collect water for yourself and your family? And if you don't have some of those things taken care of as far as sustainment and survival at home, and you're quick, again, we've done this before, so we're learning from ourselves, our past experiences, but if you're quick to jump onto, this is my go bag, this is my survival ruck, but you don't have any of those things at home, yes, you still have some of those tools, but man, it's so much nicer and it saves a lot of calories to have the correct tools at home as opposed to just what I can fit inside of my backpack.
Now, I will say that I think that being able to start a fire in the field, being able to source, procure, and purify and treat your water in the field, being able to create a shelter out of a cheap tarp or a cheap poncho, those are all survival skills that literally every dude should know. I think it's just like, I think every young man should have a rite of passage, which is learning those things. So in that regard, survival and rucks and things like that are extremely important. I would even say probably more important than having a plate carrier or having a chest rig. Not more important than having your security figured out, but definitely higher on the priority list. And so whenever it comes to this whole thing is a conversation of priorities and when can I get that priority checked off good enough and move on to the next one and expand my capability overall. And then once I get everything covered, then start to pick one thing that I'm passionate about and start to go up a tier, right? That's what this is all about. So in terms of survival gear like this, definitely a priority. Not the highest, not the lowest. And you can get good enough without buying the newest, fanciest thing that's set up to look super tactical. You can just get the basics. Basic fire starting kit, a cheap poncho, a cheap tarp, basic water filtration, and then move on to like community and household tools like generators, chainsaws to clear roads around your house and to help your neighbors, extra water cans to be able to transport that to a neighbor because you have plenty of water on hand. That's really the play. So to wrap all this up, what is one thing that you can remember as you go out and start to acquire gear? And that is spend where failure equals danger, save where failure equals discomfort.
And that may mean something a little bit different for you than it does for someone else. You may have kids, you may already own a home, you may live in a space where there's tornadoes or hurricanes. And for someone else, none of those things apply. So look at your own life and figure out the difference between danger and discomfort. Things like medical or ammunition in your concealed carry handgun, probably going to be danger areas for everyone. But some of those other niche topics, you really need to assess and figure that out for yourself. With that, guys, dad advice? Do you have any dad advice? Hit the sub button, it's free.
Well, yeah, I saw some dad advice on Instagram the other day, and it was, just because you're a dad and you're busy doesn't mean you shouldn't have time to work out, which I agree with. And the advice that was given was just work out before your kids wake up. Well, my kids wake up at 11 p.m., 12:30 a.m., 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m., and 6 a.m. So there's plenty of windows to get a workout in.
They released Epstein documents level 1, and then they say, oh, nope, there was no one else involved, nothing to be seen here.
He's a part of the plan. Yep. I need $2 million for Baby Billy's Bible bump. Mm-hmm.
Guys, looks like 2 are on the drone, 2 on security.
Security first.
Game crashes? I've never had a game crash.
I'll take left. You take right.
I'm good.
On mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 2,